You're the creator of all things, everything not written, everything that ever will be. So nothing happening by chance. No such thing as luck. So, Father, again, for creating the good, and thank you for creating evil. Thank you for creating bad. So, again, you create all things, and always give glory to you. Thanks for one more day here, one day closer to death, right? One day closer to being with you. So, thank you for that, Father. I thought I'd come in here and have a little discussion. Looks like silver opens up. Silver's your metal. Gold and silver are God's money. It's high. So, a little bit of a discussion. My voice is obviously not, you can see it's not doing very good today. So, I don't know how long we'll last here today, but I wanted to come in and make mention that looks like silver breaks out, and this is paper silver. So, $94 plus is record highs. And when's it going to pull back? We should probably see a pullback. You know, be nice for it to pull back, for some people to be able to enter in under $100, because I looked at a Buffalo online, and it was $107 for a silver Buffalo from Atmex. Silver Eagle is over $114. Get it down to $112 if you buy 500 or more, but that's a lot of money. So thank you, Father, for creating something that will hold its value and generally retain its value through generations. There's a reason why families, people who have quite a considerable amount of money, kings and queens and royalty, and people who knew that that again, it doesn't go away. You know, it holds its value, so it always keeps its value. The ratio is more what I pay attention to. I think price is a tool of manipulation, and if you don't hold it, you don't own it. So the $94 is a paper price, and that's if you want to buy a paper contract. But if you want to hold it, 107 for a Buffalo is not 94. So there is a little bit of a disconnect there. Obviously, there's about $11 difference right now between buying a paper contract and holding the physical metal in your hand. And I do think that that spread is going to continue to rise. We're going to see a higher premiums go up as more and more people pile into the market, and knowing that silver has been in a deficit for 6 years, meaning that they produce less silver every year than the demand for industrial, electronics, you know, AI, photovoltaics, solar. It's used in medicines, colloidal silver. They weave it into Band-Aids, into it's used in clothing. There's just a tremendous amount. It's the most reflective, most conductive metal on this rock. So thank you, Father, for creating these stores of value, so we can actually not be inflated. Looks like they're going up. I mean, be ready for a pullback, but don't freak out if it pulls back. We need a pullback. Nothing should go straight up. That's not a good thing. We want to see it stair step. But I've talked about silver. I have a channel, the backup channel. If you're not subscribed to that channel, called Silver's Like Gold, that's the backup channel for this channel, High Desert Faith and Truth. Silver is not for weak hands. People normally don't understand silver. Again, it's just recently, looks like all the manipulation of silver for over 180 years, it's been manipulated, and we're starting to see that come off. So it's not like gold, as far as, silver's like gold, but gold tends to just go steady. I think gold was at over $4,600, but it has higher highs and lower lows. So it's not for weak hands. People, I try to tell people, these banksters, they keep printing the money, and they're the ones who end up with the gold in their coffers. So, yeah, there we go. I mean, see, so you understand. Then you see how silver can thrash around. Silver makes higher highs and lower lows than gold normally, but that normally shakes out the weak hands. I mean, I bought precious metals 20 years ago, but I've told people where they're at, and then I got it taken from me. So, nice. Those are nice. Been doing it for a while. Then this isn't it's silver's not the market for most people because it just, again, it's higher highs. The banks print money and they raise the price. People sell it. And I'm not saying that's never wrong to take profit for somebody like yourself that's holding on for years, decades, and you should, unless you're just putting it away for your kids for generational wealth. If you have enough gold and silver, you're wealthy, so most people measure their wealth in dollars and cents, and I measure mine in chickens and acres and, gold and silver. So, if it goes down, people freak out. Like if people buy in at $90 and it goes back down to 60, people are going to lose their minds and sell it because they're going to think they're going to lose all their. Well, that's how it works. You don't buy at the top, buy at the shoulders. You buy at the knees, right down there at the ankles or the knees or the waist. So people are not used to seeing as much movement in markets, and silver's not a get rich quick type of metal, and most people are looking for that, like a stock market or a crypto where they can get rich like a lottery ticket real quick. It's something I mean, obviously I give props to all the people who have been holding on to silver for, gosh, even what was it, last April? It was in the 30s or something like that. Now we're seeing a 94 for a piece of paper. That's not the cost to actually hold it in your hand. So congratulations to all those who held strong. And I'm not saying to sell now, but it's never wrong to take some profit. And I know many people don't understand the silver market. It's there's a $900 billion market cap on silver. So we're talking less than $1 trillion. So it's a teeny tiny market. Most people do not own any silver or gold. Maybe they have a little bit in their phone or some electronics, but they don't actually have any, bullion or, there is numismatic, precious metals that hold a higher value. Like recently, the U.S. Mint came and raised their prices to over $175. That's a collectible, and that's not a BU, like a uncirculated, like if you bought a monster box. That's not the same silver that you get from the U.S. Mint. The U.S. Mint's going to sell a mint mark and have a mint mark. So when you're seeing this recent price of, $175 for a silver eagle at the U.S. Mint, you're not buying, BU silver. BU is, brilliant uncirculated, something that came in a 20 ounce, I think I have one here, but it doesn't have anything in it. Smaller one, but it'll come in a container. It's not circulated, and what you're getting from the mint has a mint mark on it, like a West Point mint or one of the Philadelphia, whatever mint that it's coming from. So there's a little bit of a kind of a lie going around right now that silver is, $175. Yeah, sleeve. There we go. Thank you. And so you're not buying, when you buy from the U.S. Mint, you're not buying a BU eagle. You're buying an actual collectible that's more numismatic. So they will have value, but when people really want the metal, they're not going to care that it has a West Point mint or a stamp on it. That's not normally concerning, especially for people who have never been in the silver market. And we're starting to see some people pile in. Not a lot, but definitely more than we've seen in the past. That's why I've tried to explain to some people the other day that we wouldn't see these bullion dealers, such as APMEX or JM or SD, have waiting times and pre-sale. I think it was Money Metals Exchange or Monument Metals, can't remember which online dealer. And be careful, there's a lot of fakes out there. When silver hits $100, and it's more than $100 to buy a physical you're going to start seeing a lot more fakes. You need to be very careful who you purchase from. Yeah, stack weight. Some people don't care. You know, like, you know, an eagle did have a pretty high premium when the demand came in, when silver reached, you know, a $25 premium for an eagle during the COVID. Remember, the spread on the ratio got over 120, and there was a $25 premium for a silver eagle. Constitutional silver, or what they call junk silver, got up pretty high too, a high premium. So when we see the premiums rise, generally the premium is going to tell you how much public demand is. And right now, again, I told you the $94 silver and 107 or 108 from you know, from APMEX. There's about a, you know, a $10 or $11 premium. So we are seeing premiums rise, which means that's the public starting to trickle into the market. But remember, we're in a silver deficit, you know, for the last 6 years, and there was a deficit for the COVID. Things slowed down because of the VidCo, or somebody spell, was it COVID backwards? What's that? Divock out of here. Divock, that's what it is. COVID backwards. But it hit, you know, the ratio got like 120. So we're seeing that ratio finally close. It was at about 90, 80 for stuck in that range for quite some time. Not the price, but the ratio. So we're starting to see that ratio close down to about 50. So I am one of those people that thinks that silver is worth more than gold. It just has way more usage. And I think there are people who will eventually do that. They'll trade their stack, and there's a certain limit that they're going to say, okay, well, when silver hits that 15-1, I call God's ratio 8-1. That's God's ratio. It's what it comes out of the ground, 7, 8-1. Every time they pull an ounce of gold out of the ground, they're going to pull an ounce of 7 to 8 ounces of silver with it. So I call that God's ratio. But when the ratio hits, you know, the monetary ratio when it was in a silver quarter was 15-1, you know, or like a silver dime or a 50 cent, you know, half was 15-1. That is generally the ratio that it's been for the last 6,000 years. It's been, you know, at the time of Rome in the 12th century, they valued gold and silver 1-1. They didn't have more value than each other. So that's why I do think that silver is worth more than gold. In a sense, it has way more usages. It's, again, used in, what's that new battery that they got coming out? I think it has something like 32 ounces of silver in that battery, you know. So silver is, there's a deficit for the last 6 years, meaning more people are using it in industry, not the collectible side. Like, what is it? Texas says he got in at $11. That's a investment. Or there's also the jewelry, but about 80% of the market in silver is made up in industry. You know, again, photovoltaics, medical, and now we see a lot of these data mining stations. I want to explain that because most people don't understand that a lot of these data mining stations, they use that silver up. It doesn't come back. Like, they put, what, a monster box, 500 ounces at the tip of a smart, you know, missile, and then blow it up and the silver's gone. So there is industry in the future that's going to be using the silver up, and it's not going to come back. So a lot of these data mining stations use that silver up. It's not like in an iPhone or in an appliance or some old electronic or circuit breaker where the silver's still there. It's being used, kind of like colloidal silver. You take it and use it as an antimicrobial or antibacterial. I'm not giving any medical advice, but it gets consumed. It doesn't come back. You know, they've recycled about 97% of the gold. So that's something we need to look at in the future, that if we're in a deficit and 80% of the market is industry, a lot of this new industry like AI and data mining centers, and they're going to consume this metal. It's not going to come back. You know, it's gone away. And so again, if you look throughout history, again, I think we've picked pretty much all the kind of reverse, but the low hanging fruit. You know, it's getting harder. They got to go deeper, and it takes more and more money to dig it out of the ground. You can't count what's in the ground because it takes money to dig that out of the ground. And we've really kind of scraped the surface of this rock for all that silver that's the easy pickings, you know. And so it's getting harder, and it's costing more money, which as silver rises, you should see some more silver miners coming online, but that's not something that just happens. You don't just start mining silver with, permitting and environmental and finding good discovery and stuff. It takes a couple, 2, 3 years to start actually putting. I'm invested in a mining stock. It's up 534% over the last 2 years. But, when I bought it, I think I bought 1,500 or some shares at, pennies on the dollar, and about crashed down to about $300. Now it's back up, and it's up over, I think, about $1,500 right now. So I do think that mining stocks, junior miners, and some of these mining stocks might not be a bad. I'm not telling you what to do with your hard-earned dollars, but I think when people can't get that money to put into physical, they're going to rush into mining. They're going to want exposure, kind of like a SLV or a GLD. They're going to want that paper. They're going to still, they're going to want access to that. When they can't get the physical, they're still going to want the exposure. And I don't think we've even begun to see what the mining sectors are going to do. Before, they've gone up in history before, and some of them went up, 100, 200, 300, 1,000, 2 and 3,000%. So I think that'll happen. This time again, they're lagging. Obviously, silver mining stocks are lagging. I'm invested in Black Rock Silver, not Black Rock, but it was used to be Black Rock Gold. It's out of the Tonopah district in Nevada, and it's a U.S. mining company. And I thought maybe if we didn't have, like Mexico shuts off, and I think they've made, they've cut off and they've nationalized I think it was uranium that they nationalized. And so that could happen where they won't import. We see China just shut off, all exports of silver. I've told people for more than a decade, or better, that China's a net importer of gold. They don't export any of their gold. And now we're kind of starting to see that as of January of this year. They quit exporting, unless we're talking about major contracts, any of their silver. So China exports about 40% of the market's refining goes through China. So this rise in price shouldn't be a surprise to people. And again, when we're talking about paper price, we're not talking about the physical metal. If you want to get into, like I said, an oil stock or something, you don't have to go get the barrel and get the oil and hold it and have the storage. Well, of course, it's going to be cheaper. But if you want that oil and you want that crude, whether it's stealing it from Venezuela or, putting it in a barrel, holding it in a facility, it's going to cost you more money. So you should expect to pay more for the physical than the paper. So I do think, though, when we have scraped all this surface, and then the general public gets in, when it starts getting that melt up on the market, I don't even think we've begun to see this bull cycle is going to potentially last for years. So I'm not making predictions. I could get it wrong. I mean, the greatest thing for silver to go back down to $60, back up the truck, put it back up the truck, right? But I could see $200 to $300 silver before the end of the year. We've been having $5 days, meaning it goes up and down. People think it's going to come up $5 every day. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about it's going to move within a $5 range. And we've seen that now. So get ready for $10 days. That's going to scare the hell out of some people when they see their silver go up $10 and then drop. They're going to freak out and sell it. That's exactly what these banksters at the top want. People with soft hands do not do well in the silver market. You probably better to invest in some gold. Gold just kind of steady stair steps, and we don't see that huge price action in gold like we do. Although gold is, hit all-time high, we don't see that like in the silver. It thrashes around. It has higher highs and lower lows than gold. It's actually was the number one performing asset of 2025. So it was up over 164%. So it outperformed the stock market, the S&P, the NASDAQ, even Bitcoin. So, but it's not a lottery ticket. And a lot of people who buy, they want to get rich quick scheme and, buy something and then have it moonshot. But that's not silver. Again, silver holds its value, over time, just like gold. That's, again, why kings and queens, people of wealth and people who had, put it away for their children. I've done the analogy of a time of Rome. They valued silver and gold 1-to-1. A gold piece would buy you the finest. They wore togas back then. I don't know what the thread count on a toga was back then, probably like bark cloth, this thick, but it would buy you the finest toga wood money could buy. You could take your lady out and have a nice steak dinner and a bottle of wine. And that doesn't change. If you go into the 1800s, silver was around 300 or $3, you know. And at that time, that would buy you the finest hand-tailored suit money could buy. And take the lady out for a nice steak dinner to the saloon there and get her a bottle of wine, right? And if I'm not mistaken, again, I think gold hit $4,600. So yeah, once again, if I'm not mistaken, that'll buy you a nice Armani suit, take the lady out for a nice steak dinner and a bottle of wine. So it doesn't lose its value. It retains its purchasing power. And that's what people don't understand, because they're so used to the fiat, you know, this fractional reserve, and then, you know, stock markets where the banksters, the central banks, have come in and bailed the system out every time to help pump and fluff that market back up. But that's not gold and silver, not the physical. It always retains its value. Silver is kind of a different animal, because we've seen silver obviously been manipulated. It's a war metal, you know. I got a piece of silver, I got a pocket piece of silver on me all the time. Anybody who's held silver's probably got a piece of pocket silver in there. But you know, this I think this one on Amex right now is $108. If you want to hold that piece, this is the lifeblood. That's the wrong way. It should be like, this nation's definitely in distress. And I say that as a veteran. You should not fly any flag in America. Should be upside down right now. You can't tell me this nation's not in distress. I mean, let's not go into that. So again, this is generational wealth, you know, and this is the lifeblood of the military industrial complex. It's not oil. Ever since, you know, circuitry, tanks, and airplanes all take, how much is in these aircraft destroyers, you know? We're talking about a ton of silver and even a little bit of gold, but silver is the lifeblood of the military industrial complex, okay? This is what it takes to make war. You know, I told you they put 500 of these ounces in the tip of a smart missile to get it to come off the ground and find its target. So, and then they blow it up and it's gone. So silver is the lifeblood of the military industrial complex. Save silver and save lives. So if you take this hand out of the hands of the, you know, these banksters who send our kids to war, $499, maybe that's not enough to make that cruise missile or Patriot get up off the ground and make its target. So every time you take silver out of the hands of the military industrial complex, right, the war machine, you're literally, you know, making it harder for them to go to war. So I've said that. Save silver, save lives. You want to save lives, keep stacking silver. Not to get rich. Didn't say that. You take it away from the military industrial complex, tanks, Blackhawks, Apaches, B-2 bomber, you know, these all take silver. You couldn't, you know, you got that swipe on your screen displays that all take silver. Always has. This is a war metal. I don't like that. I don't think the Most High made it for that, but that's the purpose it serves. So if you took all the silver that's, you know, on the surface and you spread it out like socialism, you know, like Mr. Warp Speed with his, you know, checks, and I guess he doesn't remember talking about the $2,000 checks, but, you know, there's enough for 8 ounces. You know, if you spread it out between the populace, there's 8 ounces per person. So if you got more, and I'm sure Texas, he's not going to give up. You don't need to tell us what's in his stack. That's his own business. You don't get in his pockets or his finance. But if he's got more than 8 ounces, he's got somebody else's ounces in his coffer. So there's only enough surface silver for all of us to have 8 ounces each. So once the general public gets into this market, brothers, sisters, it's going to change. And I do think that's where we'll start seeing these premiums go up. And it's just going to get harder and harder every year to get more silver, which should be supply and demand, and then rarity and scarcity. If that happens and we see it harder to get and then scarcer and less, that price obviously is going to go up. That's not rocket science. That's just straight up common sense. So $100 silver is cheap, in my opinion. Now, again, I'm not giving any investment advice. And I see a lot of people buying at 90 and 92 and 93 and 100, and they don't feel like they're overpaying. You know what I'm saying? So It's not 94. That's if you want to hold a piece of paper. If you want to hold this piece of silver in your hand, you want to have a silver buffalo, you're going to pay $108. You want to be a buffalo farmer? Be a buffalo herder. You have a herd of buffaloes? That's what I always tell people to get. I like the buffalo better than any other round for a generic bullion round, but it's not $94 for a silver. That's for a piece of paper. Silver's not $94. Silver's $107. An eagle's $114 right now if you're going to buy it on APMEX. So, yeah, there we go. So I prefer the buffalo. Like I said, don't ever tell anybody where your stack's at, and you'll probably never had it taken. I've had mine, dollar cost average. There we go, stacker. Good stuff. And that's all you do right now. Who cares what the price of silver is? Price is a tool of manipulation. It really is. Remember, I already said it earlier in the stream. These banksters put it in their coffers, right? They just keep stacking it and stacking it. They print the money so they can make the price go lower. Everybody freaks out and sells it because they think it's going to go lower. Or they'll raise it. They freak out. No, they take some profits, which is not wrong, but it still ends up in their coffer. Now, I want to say that. There are some people I know that will never sell their silver. I don't agree with that or gold, unless you're giving it to your kids. And that's fine if that's what you want to do with it. But you better pull profit. You know what I'm saying? You better pull some profit. It's not wrong. It's never wrong to take some profit. You've been holding since $11 silver and you've been wanting that brand new pickup truck. Go get it. So what? Enjoy some of your profits. It don't make no sense to me to sit there and hold it forever. We don't know. Nobody can pick the top of the market. That's impossible. Try to remember, like 80%, maybe 90% of the gains are made in the last 10% of the market. That's called a blow off top. We can't pick that. Nobody can. The best thing to do is pick a price point or a ratio that you know that you want to get out of your metals and get out. Never sell your whole stack. Never sell your whole stack. Keep some for later, but take some profit. It's not wrong to take profit. And buy that, home or whatever, because you've been doing good. Congratulations. Give yourself a pat on the back for all those people that they told you were crazy. The whole silver's not worth nothing. And I used to take a silver eagle and walk around this town when silver was $17, $18, $19. Okay. And tell people, would you rather have this $20 bill or this silver eagle? People look at me like, it's neat to set a piece of silver in somebody's hand that's never held silver. Like, whoa, so you feel how heavy it is? Can you feel all the value in that as opposed to $20? Now, people are lame. They're just, I take the $20 bill because that's what they're used to. I have taken and put a silver eagle in millionaires' hands. A man has had many millions, more than one time, but they own farmland and tractors. They're millionaires, but they don't own any physical metal. I've put a silver, isn't it pretty neat, Stacker, to set a piece of silver in somebody's hand? Because it's just, they asked me, I've had millionaires go, where did you get that? And I know these people got millions of dollars, but they got tractors and, baling, for baling hay or alfalfa or something. They got millions of dollars, but they've never actually held a piece of physical metal in their hand. Maybe they got some exposure to it by a stock or something like that, but they've never held a piece of physical metal. So I used to walk around this town and everybody told me I was crazy when silver was at $17 and the premium was $1 before the COVID, maybe $1.50 for an eagle, right? And I said, what would you rather have, this $20 bill or this piece of silver? And it's a good comparison. Yeah, you literally don't need to put, Stacker, you don't need to put a 10 pound. I'm letting you know, if somebody's never held a piece of silver in their hand, 1 ounce does the trick. 1 ounce will do the trick. We're used to it, right? Because we've held it for decades. But some of these people, once that goes in their hand, they're like, whoa, especially when you put that paper payment and that, they're like, you say, you feel all the value in that? They're like, yeah. They don't even look at the piece of paper that they have in their hand. They're like, yeah. Now, some people, they don't realize that, I'd rather have the $20 bill. They're never going to get it. They're never going to get it. You know what I'm saying? Nothing like that sound, right? Nothing sounds like silver, baby. Gold has a tone to it too, but that pinging, sound, something that's one way to test your silver, and a careful lot of fakes. But again, silver is money. Silver is money. Oh yeah, you get the frigid toe. Okay, yeah, a pinger, right? So I always have a piece of pocket silver. I don't know how many buffalo rounds I've given away. People are like, why would you just give that to somebody? Well, that makes me that much closer to $100 silver, and they don't get it at first. But when you give a piece of metal like this away, and I have before, sometimes that's all it takes for that one person to start stacking. Are you guilty of that? You ever given away, a buffalo or an eagle or something? I have. I've probably given away 20 or 30 ounces through the years to people. The right people, though, the right people that I know that'll sit there and listen to me, and I know that'll probably go ahead, and I'm not giving investment advice, but I'll give that piece of my pocket piece away and give it to them and start out another pocket piece. And I know that sometimes that's all it takes is for somebody to start stacking. Yeah, okay, see what I'm saying? People, why would you give that away? Because it gets me that much closer, because there's only so much silver on the surface. That's going to make the price go up. Remember? Rarity and scarcity, and it didn't have to go up right away, but I knew what I was doing. I can't imagine how many people who listened to me went and purchased, or somebody that I gave, and I've done that before. I've given a piece of silver to somebody, and they'll come back and, man, I got 10 ounces now. Good job. Good job. Just cost average. Don't go try to sell everything. Don't sell all your, if you got extra crap, have a garage sale, sell it on eBay, whatever. If it's just crap, then sell it. But, it's neat to put a piece of silver in somebody's hand and then update you later. Go, man, my stack's growing, man. Thank you so much. Hey, it's no problem. I had people try to give me back my original, buffalo, and I'm like, no, just keep it. That's your stack. It's your first one. Why would I want you to have that? Because that was your first one. That actually puts me that much closer to that shrinking of the demand. And that's what we're seeing right now. For the last 6 years, there is more. Now it's more the industrial side, but there is more demand for silver between industry, investment, and jewelry than there is coming out of the ground. There's been a silver deficit every year, for the last 6 years. And again, during the COVID, it shut down, but prior to the COVID, we had a deficit too. Go back and look at that historical records. So there is a deficit in silver. There's more silver being consumed every year than there is and we're totally going into an AI future, data mining stations, robotics, there's a lot of different industry right now that's coming onto the market that's going to consume silver. All these silver batteries that they're coming out with, circuitry. And again, your phone wouldn't swipe. What makes your phone swipe, pinch, all of that takes silver to do that. So it's kind of neat to see somebody kind of light up when they've never had silver in their hand. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, especially the batteries, that new battery that they're coming out with that goes, I think, 800 miles, takes 32 ounces. 32 ounces, guys. And again, I said, if you spread up all the silver like socialism, like Bernie Sanders, or like COVID checks, where you're spreading the wealth out, there's only enough for everybody to have 8 ounces per person. So again, if you have more than 8 ounces, you got somebody's silver, they're not going to get their 8 ounces, guys. So that's why it's okay for me from time to time, just give somebody a piece of silver when it's the right person. I don't just give them away like that, but I have through the years, probably 2 or 3 dozen. I'm just giving them away. And people are like, why would you do that? Because generally those people will come back to me and go, man, I'm so appreciated. I'm starting to understand the silver market, how this works. And then they come back and say, I got 100 ounces now. Well, good job. They bought that at $13, $14, $15, $16, $17. I kept telling everybody silver under $50 is fire sale prices. Fire sale prices. You know what I'm saying? There you go. There you go. There you go. Good. Do it, Texas. And start refining copper. I want to make a note of that too, because I think copper will come up. This is just something I found out the other day, and I didn't realize that. What percentage of copper is in that? Do you see the copper market get cleared out? Remember, they made silver and copper a strategic metal. Trump just came out and said that in the event of silver is a national security. National security. Of course, this guy's taking us to war all over the world. Save silver, save lives. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, exactly. And they weren't that long ago. Remember that you could go buy, I was telling the neighbor, hey, you should go buy some big bars. Who cares if it's over, inflated, because you're not buying Bear Bright silver, or whatever. Buy those big bars and put them away and start refining them into half ounces, 1 ounce, quarter ounce, and put your little stamp on it and get a stamp. You know what I'm saying? There you go. So Texas, if I was you and you're a quarter, you're a rat holder, you rat hole it, like that, start getting it refined. It's pretty reasonable for a smelter, a crucible or whatever right now. Get yourself a stamp. Maybe you're Texas and you got your little thing. Get your own little stamp. Make up your own little logo and start taking all that and refining it down into smaller ignits. Put your little stamp on it. Put it away. Rat hole that stuff for later, and then, when it comes out, like now, because those $2 rounds aren't $2 anymore. They're $5 rounds. Okay. Outstanding. Good stuff. You're a rat hole. You rat hole everything because you knew eventually that's going to come there. So if you hear me out, copper is going to be, this is what it's rather upsetting for me to see, because if you go back on this channel and you watch, I've been telling people for probably a year to get into copper, at least start hoarding this stuff, get it, and start refining it down. I've been hitting this in the last 6 months really hard. I was even talking to the neighbor up the road. Hey, you got silver, good job, but keep getting copper. Take that stuff and refine it. He's like, yeah, I wanted to refine metal. I said, it's fun. People love to do it, but start putting it into smaller ignits. Again, quarter ounce, half ounce, 1 ounce rounds, stamp it, put the purity on it, 999, whatever, ABM, whatever it is. And that way, when the day comes and there's no more silver, guess what people are going to flock to, brothers, sisters? No, they're not. No, they're not. I think the government came and just bought it all up. Go try to buy some copper online right now. Who's got it in stock? Nobody. Actually, the only people who have it in stock that I know is Golden State Mint, but no, they don't, because I ordered some rounds from them and it took them 13 days to ship my metal, and it's still not here. But remember, I ordered that at $2.07 or $1.99 a round, and now that same round is $5.14 a round. Now that's crazy for an ounce of silver, because $5 is, and it's 16 ounces that makes a pound of copper. It's not precious metals. Think about this too. Texas, he's been in here, a couple of you guys. Remember when silver was $13? You said you bought yours at 11. Well, what happens when silver out, that same round selling for $5 right now? Copper has almost become a precious metal. I know it's a base metal like zinc, copper, or lead. That's a bit, but think about what I'm just telling you. We're going to get ahead of this right now. We're going to get ahead of this. Think what I'm saying. It's $5 for a copper right now. Good stuff. Good stuff. Outstanding, Stacker. So you too understand what I'm saying. I think you would understand what I'm saying. If you can get this into ignits, maybe you can pour it into a round, a blob or something like that. Put your little stamp on it or something like that. Copper ounce online right now is unavailable. See, I was trying to get everybody to hoard their pennies, right? Put away all your copper pennies, right? Put away all your copper pennies, right? Because they're, 3 cents, 3.5 cents or something like that to make a copper, anything like that in electronics. But my point that I'm making is that if you start stacking this, I was trying to get everybody ahead of this, because I thought, well, when the silver runs out, what is the general public going to rush to? Copper. No, they're not, brothers and sisters. Look what happened. Silver or copper rounds went from $2 a round. Forever they were $2. They're $1. Last time I bought them, when I had my silver taken from me, because I told somebody where it's at. Never tell anybody where silver's at. Probably won't take it from you, right? It's pretty safe. No third-party risk. Great thing about precious metals. But put it into smaller amounts, right? That same copper round right now is unavailable. Atmex doesn't have any. SD doesn't have any. Oh, wait, I think SD does have it, but it's all on pre-order. Some of that stuff's not going to ship until February 23rd. Some of it's in January this month, but nobody has any available right now. You're not going to get it and get it turned to you in 2 and 3 days. You see this high demand on all the distributors online, the bullion dealers. So there's no copper available. Let's see. Who do you think bought all the copper market out? Because remember, just a couple months ago, I was talking with the neighbors going, Granger has it. Can you get it shipped immediately? That's not a company that I've ever done business with, but I've heard of that company before. But your big bullion dealers like Atmex, SD, JM, Money Metals Exchange, Monument Metals, these people have been on the line dealers for a long time. Nobody has any in stock. Golden State Mint was the only place that had anything in stock. But brothers, sisters, I ordered it, and I still haven't got my metal, and I ordered it on the 6th. I don't know who bought up all that. All of them went blank. Who bought that metal? Obviously, maybe industrial, maybe, but I think I know who bought all that metal. Let's go back to November 11th. What happened on November 11th of 2025? Does anybody remember what happened on November 11th, 2025, this last year, which just a few months ago? What happened on 11/11, 2025? Yeah. It's crazy. Isn't that insane? So it's almost Stacker. Okay. No, that was the 6th, on the 6th, I believe. Now, I could have my dates backwards. Okay. Scott, I could have them backwards. But remember, they quit minting. Trump contacted the Secretary of the Treasury, instead stop minting the U.S. penny. Right? Now, they're making some specialty ones, but they're not going to be put into circulation. If I'm not mistaken, that was on November 6, 11/6/2025, and 11/11/2025, the government came out and made copper. What? They were talking about making silver strategic metal for years. Okay. There we go. Save them nickels. Save them Oh, wait, those are quarters. Those are quarters. We're going to talk about this in just one second. So I might have my dates mixed up, but it was both in the month of November. They quit minting the penny. And then on November 11th, I believe that they made silver and copper a strategic metal. I never thought copper would have gone on that list. It really wasn't talked about. They've been talking about making silver a strategic metal for years. Silver and copper became a strategic metal. It wasn't that much longer after that we saw somebody come in and buy up all the online copper bars, copper rounds. I mean, all of it was bought up. Nobody had anything available. So I think I've got a pretty good idea on who bought that up. I'm going to say the United States government came and bought up all of it. They got the printers, the money printers, the central banksters. They can print this stuff up and go purchase it. They got the credit, right? That broke my heart, brothers and sisters, because remember, the general public doesn't understand what's going on here. They spend their little tap, swipe. They're already using credit. I'm a plastic man. You know me, I'm a young OG. No, it's classic, right? I'm a classic man. It's not plastic, but they pay with plastic. So my idea was try to help, because that's what I am, a service to other being, to try to get people ahead of the game a little bit. I say, you better start collecting those pennies. You better start saving that copper. You better start taking apart that circuitry and pulling out that copper. But for right now, you can actually go online, save your pennies, and go online and buy some of these big bars and then refine them down into smaller ignits. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, remember I talked about that one grocery store chain. Thank you, Scott. I talked about how many did I say they brought in something? I can't remember my statistics. An unreal amount. It was a grocery store chain back east that 180,000. I can't remember what I said, but Scott was here for that, and I talked about it. I was talking about that way back then. Like, get in on this, guys. Get in on this. And even though it's kind of expensive to buy that big copper bar, who cares? I know it's already weighted, but just go get it right now, because that big old bar, you can refine it down into fractional copper. And then right behind us, somebody came in and bought up all the copper on the market. That breaks my heart, brothers and sisters. It really does, to think that just took the U.S. public out of the market. It really did. The average Joe. Now, some of you guys are ahead of this. Obviously, some of you guys have been rat holing silver and protecting, putting it away and got stacks of it. It's time to start refining it. Listen to me. It's time to start refining it and getting into the smaller rounds or ignits or little buttons or whatever, and weight it. Make sure you scale it, weight it, purify it, get it, as pure as you can get it, and then put your little stamp on it. Maybe it's, beam me up, Scotty, with a little UFO or something. You got a little, get your little mark on it. Unless you know where to get copper, and there's still a lot of copper out there, you just can't go buy it like that anymore. When a silver or when a copper round's $5, that's about how much it is for an ounce of copper right now, between $4 and $5 an ounce. I'm sure it'll be up to 10. Hell, I was buying silver at $10 an ounce, and it's a precious metal. Copper is almost a precious metal, brothers, sisters. It really is. So let's have this discussion. How much percentage? This is just a regular quarter, right? It's a U.S. quarter or a dime. What is the percentage overall of this quarter? What is the percentage of copper in this quarter right here? Does anybody know? I didn't realize this the other day. I went back and I looked at it, and I was blown away that I didn't catch this right out the gate. And I'm normally a numbers guy, so math doesn't normally escape me. Pay the scrapper one more than the refiner. So you need to start becoming your own refiner. So don't scrap any more metal. Don't scrap any more of your copper. It's almost a precious metal. It really is. Texas is almost a precious metal. Think about what I'm saying. It's $5 an ounce right now, and I know it's $6 for Bear Bright, and when you're going to scrap it. But so this is just a U.S. quarter or a dime. It's the same thing. It's got a clad cover on it. What is the overall percentage of copper in this? There's a 75% base. They put it over, the clad goes over the 75% copper base. Copper base, right? What is the overall percentage of this? Just regular. This isn't a 64 or older. This isn't a 90%er, constitutional or junk. Junk my ass. Yeah, right. It's not junk anymore, right? The ratio used to buy you a gallon of gas, the silver content okay, that's the base. But what's the overall now? It has a clad outside, Scott, over that 75% pure copper core. So that's almost like a copper coin, isn't it? Anybody, Texas, he might know. Stacker, do you know what the percent? I didn't realize this till the other day. Okay, and I already told you guys a little bit about how to do this, but because it's 75%, I got that wrong. Not that I got it wrong, but it's over that, Scott. It's over. It's 91 point. The outside of the clad on the outside of this, as I've been telling you to, save nickels, right? Save nickels. Where's my nickel? I don't know where my nickels went. Save nickel and save copper. This is a copper and nickel coin. The outside percentages it's 91% overall. So the cladding on it, the clad is copper and nickel. So it's about 8.1 or 2% nickel, and the remaining is copper. So this is a nickel. And save your nickels, because nickel is what it takes to make stainless steel stainless. That's another war metal. You can't have all these AI robots running around in Venezuela doing super troopers like they sent down there, which I think that's what they sent down there, in these wet environments, or like Mr. Stinky Muskrat with his rusty microwave dustpan rolling around. That stainless steel rusted because they didn't put enough nickel in it. Nickel, I've been in the food industry. Nickel is what makes stainless steel stainless. Stainless makes it antimicrobial and antibacterial as well. So food industry, circuitry, robotics, AI, Terminator robots, or whatever you want to call them. This is a copper coin, brothers and sisters. This is copper. Stop looking at this outer shiny part. This is copper. Do not, and Scott will be in here as my witness. Okay, Scott will be in here as my witness. I've already been telling you. Every time you go to the store, ask them for your change and just tell them this. I know it's a little blanket thing, but just tell them, hey, I got to do laundry. That's what I've been telling everybody on this channel. Do not accept 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3 in paper. Don't accept that anymore. Say, hey, I got to do laundry. Can I have some quarters? Most of them won't even bark. The other day, I went to the Walmart. I didn't want to go by there, but went by there to get some paper plates. And I asked the lady, and I only had $1.25 coming back in change. I just said, whatever, because I do it every time. I said, can I get that in quarters? I got to do laundry. She said, I don't know. I don't know if I have them. Really? That's the first time anybody who's barked at me. Okay? But if you just do it nonchalant, do not accept paper back. That's stupid to accept paper when you can get 91% copper. This is a copper coin. There you go. I did the other day, Texas, okay? The other day I went to the laundromats, okay? Car washes, laundromats, you got it. Good stuff. Laundromats and car washes, okay? That's right. We've been saying that because you can't take away the penny, right, Carl? You can't take the penny away and keep up. Remember that lady? I had 2 cents change the other day. She said, I don't have it. I've been a salesman. In sales, the first person that talks loses. Well, you do it for $150, right? If you talk, brother or sister, you're going to give them a chance. And no, you don't say anything. So she looked at me. She said, I don't have the 2 cents. I went. She repeated herself. I don't have it in my drawer. I went. She said, would you like a nickel? I said, sure. So they lost 3 cents. They lost 3 cents. She thought, how many people could she get away with that all day long? Oh, I don't have the pennies in my drawer. Oh, it's okay. We don't have any more pennies. Would you like a nickel? Sure. That did that. I did that. Good. I've been doing it. I already told you that, Scott, and they wouldn't give it to me. I went to every bank in Bend and told them that. Hey, I'm making a silver floor or I'm making a copper floor, and nobody will do business with you anymore. I don't know where all these coin rollers are getting they must be getting them from their bank, but my credit union won't give me any. Couple bucks, $3, $4. Remember, I went and got nickel when they wouldn't give me the pennies. I went and got $44 worth of nickels. Next time I try to go back and do it again, they went and asked the bank manager. They only give me $4. So they're catching on, brothers and sisters. They're catching on. Okay. No banks will do business with you now if you're not a member of their bank or their credit union. Not any of the ones in Bend wouldn't. Maybe in your town it's different. Okay. There's little redneck towns and stuff. But it's catching on. You can't keep rounding up and giving people nickel and it's not going to run out. Okay. So essentially, this is a copper quarter. It is. It's 91.8% copper. I know it doesn't look copper, but it is. So the other day I went to the laundromat and I got $100. I was out early. And so I went by the laundromat. Nobody was in there, so it wasn't a big deal. I should have unloaded a little bit more, but I put $100 worth in there and I didn't pay attention. I got home and I had a silver quarter. I got a silver quarter. It was $100 worth of change. And I went back because I went back into town the other day and they were open. They were open. So the little lady in the window was open. I put the first 20 in. She didn't look. I put the second 20 in. She kind of peeked around I put the third 20 in there. She looked around that's a lot of quarters. Like, how much laundry are you doing? I just said, the hell with it. I stuck one more in there because I had myself a container. I said, all right, that's enough. I don't want to run them out because I'm sure they've got plenty, but I got a copper. I got a silver. Outstanding. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. 85 Shadow. So we're just talking about, how to kind of get ahead of this. This is a copper coin. Copper and nickel, the two things I've been telling you to put away. So it's 91.8% copper and 8.9% nickel. So do not accept your change. Go by the car washes. Thank you. I think it was Texas that said that. Okay. Yeah, I got a 64 and older. I got a silver quarter. I was stoked. I'm like, yeah, that made this worth it, right? It was so neat to see that in there. I wasn't expecting anything. And then don't throw away, guys. And I better get off my fourth point of contact, get off my ass, because there's a lot of, like, look, even in this is clad. These aren't actually copper pennies. Don't throw away any change. There's a lot of 82s, 87s, 92s that have numismatic value. I need to get off my ass and look through. I can't because my eyes don't work. Remember? Grenade to the face, and I don't see the same anymore. I just can't. I can't read it. My eyes are screwed up. I have a big hash mark in my eye. But don't throw away any of your change. And get on this, guys. They've got these. I need to buy one or something on my phone because they've got a scanner that you can use on your phone that's got a database that will tell you everything. I mean, double die, or it'll notice it. I need to get off my butt. What was that? Oh, heard a puppy out there barking. But there's numismatic. Guys, there's pennies that are worth thousands of dollars. Okay? Nickels, die, double dies, all these different things. No mint mark. Don't throw away any of your change. Don't accept money back. Try to get it in change every time. Try to get it in change every time because there's very valuable coins that these aren't copper. These are just the regular ones. Who cares? There's probably one in here that's worth $10. There probably is. There's one in here that's dyed, double dye. It's a S mark, whatever, from Philadelphia, or don't throw away your change. Not throw it away. Don't give it. Don't accept paper back. Okay. Because most people pay with credit cards anyways, or debit cards. Take this and get the phone apps, guys. Get the phone apps and start scanning your coins. I need to go ahead and buck up. I mean, I made $15 on that quarter. I can't afford $15 for a phone app. I think I can. I got a silver quarter. Brothers and sisters, don't throw away any change. There's very you know what numismatic is. Some of my people that have been here, stackers in here, Texas in here, Scott, you know what I'm talking about. That's right. That's right. So thank you, Carl, for that. I mean, remember that was, that was the thing. In here, actually, you got, where's here? I got some of those, don't I? And there are some out there. I don't know where those are at. I don't know where I put them, but I have some casino chips, and they're not. I think they're just nickel and clad. But there are casino chips that were silver back in the day, brothers and sisters. When silver was $2, they would actually give you a casino chip, that was silver. They're still out there. People don't know that they are. They just think they're just some kind of collectible. They don't really realize that they're silver. So thanks for coming in, Sabrina. So this is a copper quarter. This is a copper quarter. Okay, copper quarter. That's right. Those are tough to find. Okay, those are tough to find. But I'm telling you, your change jar's got something in there that's valuable. Numismatic. It's a certain mint. It's a missed die. It's a double die. It's, there's missing a part. There's quarters right now that are in the U.S. that there's like a little leaf and it's worth $20, $30, $50, $100, $200. Don't throw away any change. Don't throw it away. I mean, by spending it. Of course, you might have to spend a little bit, but don't spend it. Go through it. There are numismatic coins in all your coinage. Don't accept paper back. If you're like me, you pay with paper. Sometimes I have to pay with a debit, whatever, pay bills or whatever. But if I go to the market, generally don't use any kind of credit card. I make sure I have enough cash on me. Okay. So save all of your change because there is something in there, and then go buy some weight. Go buy some copper rounds with it. Go buy a silver round. Maybe you got something that's worth $300 or $400. Go buy a little 10th ounce of silver or something, a gram or gold or something like that. Who cares what's on it? It's some special coin with that. Who gives a rat's butt? Nobody's going to care about that in a year or two. The way, hey, Trump's possibly going to ban alcohol. Who knows what's next, what the guy's going to do? He's still got nearly 4 years in office or 3 years in office to come up with some more crazy crap. Okay. So there are coins in there that are numismatic. Now, I want you to think about this. Most people don't realize that, and I didn't quite realize. I knew this had a 75% copper core, but with the cladding on it is copper and silver or nickel. It's 8.2% or 8.1% nickel, and the remaining is copper. This is a copper coin. This quarter is copper, brothers and sisters. That's a big-ass penny. You can't get the 82s now because they won't give them to you at the bank, right? But you could probably go to the bank and get some. You don't need to go to the bank. Go to the car wash. Go to the laundromat. Thank you, Texas, for making a mention. Go to the car wash. Car wash will give you as many quarters as you want. I'm going to go to the car wash because nobody's looking at the car wash. At the laundromat, they're watching, right? There's a lady there who is, servicing and checking the lint traps and all that. I went there early before the lady got out there, the door open, got $100 worth of quarters, and I got a silver quarter. Okay? So do not get rid of your change. Don't get rid of your change. Hold on to all of it. None of it's worth getting rid of. Once you scan it and it's nothing, then make a pile of that. But until you go through every bit of your change and find out which one's which, don't get rid of it. There's going to be a time. If you scan it, it's worth nothing, whatever. Go buy some whatever, even if it's just a 10th ounce round of silver right now. Who cares if it's just some zinc penny that doesn't have anything on it, right? But that's not worth. Never throw away a copper quarter. This is a copper quarter. Stop looking at it as this shiny, clad nickel cover. This is a big ass penny. This is a big ass penny is all it is. You understand? That's what it is. It's a big penny with some nickel coating on it. Think about it that way. So don't throw no quarters. Save every quarter and save every dime you have. The only ones I think that are not worth holding on to right now are ones that you've already scanned that doesn't have numismatic, like these pennies. Okay, but there's got to be a penny in here that's worth $10. You can't tell me that on the average that one of these pennies doesn't have some kind of numismatic value. Yes, it does. I just need to get off my lazy ass and get a coin app that I can, oh no, then don't go to those ones. I'm sure car washes do it too. Good call, Carl. Go to the ones that give you, and I didn't know that. I don't do my laundry at a laundromat, but I just went to get a coffee the other day, and I normally don't stop by McDonald's, but it was the only thing that I could go through fast. And I know that McDonald's, like supporting, I've never been to McDonald's in 10 or 15 years, but I know their coffee's pretty decent. So, and I was just getting a regular, regular coffee. I didn't normally want coffee, just something I wanted. I was going over the mountain to Eugene. I just wanted a little bit of coffee, just a small coffee. And I asked him, can I get change? She's like, no, we can't give change away. She said, oh, but hey, there's a really nice laundromat right over down the street. I'm like, hell yeah. So I went over there and I got $100 worth of quarters. Nobody was there in the little booth, so I could have gotten hundreds of dollars. I was on camera, so I didn't want to overdo it, right? Whatever, it's not taking. I'm putting money in there. I'm not stealing anything from them, but I don't want to take all their change. I go back to that place, though. But I'm starting to wonder, as silver goes up, are they going to start to figure it out? I don't know. Probably not. So I went back and got $80 worth of quarters, and I didn't get a silver quarter. That's okay. I still might have a numismatic quarter. I might have a quarter in there that's worth $100. That's got some special mint on it, or a misprint, or a die mark. The die chipped, and it's got some little mark. There's all kinds of, like this one the other day. There's this quarter. I'm not sure because I didn't see it. I don't think this is one, and then I was actually looking at it and think I'm wrong. But this is one, this back quarter. This back quarter has, this one has a certain mark on it. I didn't look it up. I haven't looked it up yet. It's something to do with the bottom. There's like a you want to go over there, Pants? There's something with this quarter, but that's what I'm saying. There are state quarters that are very valuable. Go spend that thing. Who cares how valuable it is right now? Go get the money from it, take it to your coin shop, whatever they give you the most for it, and go buy some silver dimes, a silver quarter, constitutional quarter, a silver round. Maybe got something that's worth $100 or something. Go get yourself an ounce of silver right now. If you got a quarter that's got some special thing on it, go get some weight. Get your weight up. Just like Texas said, just buy weight. Who cares about, numismatic? And now I have said there's a reason why, and that's starting to go away, that buffalo round, if you make a copy of this, make a fake buffalo, you're going to go to jail, right? You're going to go to jail because it's not coinage, it's bullion. There's a reason there's a higher premium on a U.S. Eagle. It's because that is actual money. And we're going to bring that up too right now, because this is going to make 100% sense to you for those of you guys that have been in this market for a little while. A U.S. Eagle says $1 on it. It's $175 to buy it from the U.S. Mint right now. Forget that. That's a new numismatic. That's a special. It's got a West Mint or it's got a mark on it. You're buying, a collectible. You're not buying a BU uncirculated. In 1913, right? I don't think there were Eagles back then. That didn't come in, I think, till the 80s. But that is a Morgan, I think, whatever, Morgan dollar or Barber. I can't remember which one it was. That would buy you $1 worth of goods. Okay? If you take a Silver Eagle to the store, they're only going to give you $1 for it. They're not going to give you your 95. No, they're not. They're not going to give you the 175 at the Mint. They're just going to give you $1. What is an ounce of silver worth right now? $100. Remember, it's 108 for this Buffalo, or 114. Let's just call it $100. You guys, it's lost all its purchasing power. That same Barber back then, or that same Eagle, or I can't remember what it is now worth $100. The greenback isn't. Oh, it's got some nostalgia and it's got some new numismatic, but it's not worth no $100. So it spends as $1, but it's worth $100. That's proof that the U.S. has lost all its purchasing power. There is no more value in fiat currency, brothers and sisters. It is, because you can spend it in the market, but not really. If you think about what I just said, a U.S. $1 silver coin back the inception of the first silver 1 ounce coin would buy you $1 worth of goods. You go to the store, remember, even up to actually 1971 would be the last time you could say, hey, I don't trust the system. I'm going to take my silver $2 certificate, and they give you 2 Silver Eagles in 1971. Okay. As of right now, you spend that at the store, you only get $1 for that Eagle, but it's worth $100. Proof that the U.S. has lost all its purchasing power. There's no more. We've seen it, guys. When this hit $100, put a 1 in the chat if you see what I'm saying. It spent as $1. I just brought you up to 1971, where they suspended the convertibility into the dollar to gold. I already told you, France came over here and said, hey, we want all our gold back with their military boats. So you see what I'm saying? It'll spend as $1 at the store. They're not going to give you $100 for it. That same coin back in whenever they minted, I think it was a Barber, for $1, you're not going to get. I don't even think you could spend that right now, but you could spend a U.S. Eagle. It's lost all its purchasing power. It's worth $100. There's no more value in paper, brothers and sisters. We see that when we go to the grocery store. We're going to spend stacks of it just to get crap, box bagged and flat, food flavored poison with red lake number dye, yellow, whatever, dye. So it's lost all its purchasing power. And that's proof, because they'll only give you $1 for it. They'll only give you $1 for it at the store. A U.S. Eagle is $114 right now on APMEX. Okay. But even if it was $1 back then, it bought you $1 worth of purchasing power. It doesn't spend that anymore. You literally have $100 worth of metal in that same coin. So I don't remember how when it first started, but 1913, the inception of the central banks, right? That's probably right around that date. But that dollar now coin, you're not going to get $100 worth of groceries. They're going to look at you like you're crazy. What do you mean $100? That's only says $1 on it. It's lost all its purchasing power, brothers and sisters, but that coin is still worth $100 now. I don't care how old it is. We used to have some careful of those infomercials, Carl. There's a lot of fakes out there right now. There's a lot of fakes out there. There we go. Exactly. 640. Exactly. You want healthy food. You're going to pay out that, and I don't even know if it's healthy from the store anymore. Remember they pulled all that stuff back and the labels, oh, it's non-GMO. It's not. Yeah, it is. They went to the lab and tested it is. The only way that I know to get healthy food right now. Speaking of, guys, I got to take a pause. I got to go put my ladies up. Got to put my chickens up, okay? I got to get my birds up. I don't want any getting into my birds. They're valuable to me. I like my butt nuggets. Those are better than golden nuggets. So give me a minute. Let me go put my ladies up here. But you guys can have the discussion here amongst yourself. But please be wise. Do not ever spend credit at the store or debit if you have cash, and go get that change. Go get that change. Yes, that's why I started getting eggs again. You know, so we only got 2 eggs today, but that's all right. Hey, some eggs are better than no eggs. Don't you remember what Bill Clinton said? He said, blowjobs are better than no jobs. Bubba, remember? Trump blew Bubba. He said, blowjobs are better than no jobs. Isn't that ironic? Remember? Clinton gave Donald Trump his first taste of the White House. Oh, I'm being a wise guy. All right, give me 1 second. Let me put my ladies in. You want to go outside with me, guys? Go, buddy. Go check on the birds. Let's go put our ladies up. Here, let's go show these beautiful eggs first that we got today. These are from my cinnamon. There's the 2 eggs from today. They're in a little bit of a transition right now. It's not a good time to lay. I don't have a heat lamp on them, so I don't know if they'll quit laying or if we'll just kind of off and on. But 2 beautiful cinnamon queen, which is a Rhode Island cross. No washed off. These don't go in the refrigerator because these still have the bloom on them. Woo-hoo! Look at those beauties. And I need that. I need that protein. I really do. I miss having that 5 eggs. I was eating 4 to 5 eggs a day, every day for quite some time. So, the spring will get here soon enough. It's worth it. They're worth it. I'll keep feeding them the best I can. When we get more sunlight, every day we're gaining daylight. Come on, Betsy. Come on, Bo. Come back in. Good boy. Yeah. All right, we got 2 more. 2 more eggs. Outstanding. So here's our golden butt nuggets for the day. We got 4 eggs today. 2 more when I went out there. So 2 laid. I probably would have looked around in the yard, but because these girls aren't real super, friendly like mine. Mine come and chase me all around the yard. These have been in a coop their whole life and have never free range, and now they're free range. And so I walk in there, they kind of, they're getting a little more friendly. But 4-butt nuggets, they're light colored. My other ones lay darker browns. They're not laying right now, but they will. I've got one that's molten. So, thank you, Father, for farm fresh eggs, baby. They say farm fresh eggs have 20% more protein than store-bought eggs. And they sure taste a lot better, too. Obviously, taste is everything. I don't do it because it's cheap. I think it costs me more to raise the eggs, but it's worth it to me to have them. Let me stoke my fire here. Stoke the fire. Come on now. Do your thing, fire. Do your thing. Let's get her going here. Fireplace going here. The wood burner. The wood stove. We'll probably get a bigger chunk up there. That one too big. We'll get that one in there. That'll work. All right. Let that do its thing. So, yeah, they'll take a little time. Like I said, they're all a little sketchy. I think they live their whole lives. They're only 8 months old. That's like the perfect bird. You can't, they're going to lay for a couple years. So that lady gave me a really good deal on them, and I got the rooster with them. So, and I like that rooster out there. He crows about 3 or 4 times a day, but not real loud. Yeah, you got to grow your own food anymore. And say, it's just tough to get good food at the grocery store. It's just, even if it says it's organic, it's just not. The only way to get good food is to grow it yourself. Get it from local farmers markets. Find some, Mennonites, people like that. There's farmers out there. Cut that supply chain down. Bring that supply chain closer to yourself. That way too, when things break down, and the stores close, and you already go get a half a cow, or you purchase a goat or something, or a sheep or something, and you're getting it from a farmer. When things break down, you're able to go right to your farmer and get it that way when the stores, because it happens. We had a pretty good X flare come off, an X.2 flare come off the sun today, pointing right at us. So, we saw some, I think radio blackout, and it definitely, we're one of these days that sun's going to pump out a solar flare. And we're going to go back to the Stone Age for a little bit. I'm sure there'll be some high-tech rednecks like me who still have solar and things that will still work, but most of the common man is not ready for the sun. And it's, we're not out of the clear yet. We're still in that solar maximum, and we could be in the solar maximum here for, another year, a little over a year or so. Any day that sun can pop off an X flare, and we might see some auroras tonight. Actually, if you got a clear sky tonight, I think there's some aurora forecasts, like Sabrina and some of you guys are I think Carl's up more to the north. And go outside if you get a chance and look online, but you should be able to see what the aurora forecast is. But it looks like that we're going to get some aurora tonight. I mean, hell, they were seeing northern lights in Venezuela, so any day now, the system could go down. So this might not be a bad time to cash in some of that gold and silver. And if you got it, you've been in the market for a while, and go get your solar system set up, get some chickens, go buy some hog panels and put up some fencing and get some goats or get some sheep. Start becoming your own system. Become your own supply chain. You know, that's the biggest. You know, one of the. You can't live without food, right? You got to have food. You can't eat. You lie into a big old bar of gold or a bar of silver, and you're starving. You're gonna go, man, I shouldn't have bought that. I should have went and listened to Pastor and bought some chickens. You know, so. For me, it was really valuable to go get those birds, and that lady was super nice too. Like I said, she wanted to give me her dog because Bone got along with her so well. I'm kind of really regretting not getting that dog, but I don't need any more 18-year-old animals anymore. You know, 13 go live to be 13, so that's a big commitment. It's like having another kid. So anytime somebody gets a puppy, I'm like, oh, congratulations, you had a boy, you had a girl, you know. So yeah, chickens are okay for now. You know, I can eat them or whatever, and you know, so looks like next week's going to warm up a little bit out here. We've been getting in the teens, you know, overnight 12, 13, 14, and then up into the 40s in the day, maybe 50. But looks like coming up next week, we're going to start getting up into the 20s and 30s, and in the 50s during the day. So looking like that we're getting. No, of course we're not. You know, it's all January's almost over. We're coming into February. We don't get a spring out here until April and May, until it kind of breaks out here. We can get snow out here in April and May. You know, we get a hard freeze out here because we're the high desert at, you know, 4,500 feet. At, you know, every month we can get a hard freeze where I'm at. So definitely, we're not in the clear yet, but we are getting more daylight every day, which is awesome because it's better for the chickens, and they'll start the process of, you know, getting ready to lay again. And you know, as I've got only one that's molting, and but she's doing okay. She's doing okay. It's so strange. Those other birds won't go in and nest in the nesting box. They lay in the underneath on the ground. That's probably the way they were used to it. So they're not used to getting up off the ground. My 6 go into the nesting box, and the other ones go and lay underneath the where they perch at night. The 6 go in there, and the other go lay in the other portion of the you know, I've got it separated in 3. It's all one, but 3 separate areas. One where I raise the rabbits, and above in the kennel area, that's that little Rancho Pollo building that I built to get into the entrance. So I don't have to bend over and get underneath there. I can get in there and get the eggs much easier. And but they lay underneath the nesting box. The rooster goes up inside in the nesting box, but the other ones, they all huddle up down in the bottom of the actually, I should put some more hay down there. I took me an extra minute because one side of that nesting box, it has chicken wire on the side of it, and I went and put up a board up next to it, so it'll just keep the breeze from coming in the side. And they're fine. They're birds. They're used to being outside. And that lady said she didn't put heat on them, but she put a light on them so they continue to lay a little bit longer. But birds don't need heat. You know, that's actually not good to do to your birds, to put a heat light on them. They don't really. Birds can get cold. You know, they have the feathers and they have the bones that are hollow, and they can get cold, you know, and they do okay. So the only time that I'm concerned is when they molt, because sometimes if they lose a little bit of their feathers, especially around their undercarriage. Yeah, it's been pretty mild out here in the desert. This has been a really mild winter. We've only just had kind of one session of snow. We've had feet of snow out of here, you know, before, but you know, it's been pretty mild. So thank you, Father. We're coming back into some warmer weather here overnight, you know, in the 30s. That's awesome. You know, I'll use a lot less firewood. So I got a new jug, guys. Got me a new jug at the Goodwill. I don't know if this keeps as good as temperature as the other one. $12.99. You can't beat that. Look at that big old mug. to that blue one that I had. I like this one because I like green's my favorite color. Well, black, but black's not a color. So $12.99 at the Goodwill. And I drink isn't that an excellent buy? A nice handle on it. Got a cool lid. My other one's kind of larger lid. This one's got the same lid here, so yeah, there we go. Good stuff. Berkey ice cubes. I made ice today. My solar is pretty full right now. My batteries are full to the brim. They're up to 14 something earlier today. But anyways, silver hits record highs. Paper silver, $94 and some change. There was a huge, massive spike. If you go on the silver charts, like the 24-hour Kitco spot price, you can see that it just shot out of the gate like a racehorse. Jumped up over $94. Went and looked on here before I came in here. Looked at Atmex. Generally check them more than any other dealer. I don't buy a lot of metal from them. I have in the past, but you can get some better rates from time to time. Sometimes they got good rates, just as good or better too. Sometimes you got to shop around between some of your bigger online bullion dealers. But I took a screenshot for this, the JPEG on this, and it was 94.68 or something like that. So silver breaks and crushes the records and crashes through the $93 mark and blows the ceiling off of it. So are we going to keep seeing silver go up? Probably. Do I like that? Yeah, but I really wish it'd pull back a little bit. It just been skyrocketing. Look at the charts. Go to Kitco and look at their charts, man. Wow. This is the moonshot, so we are due for a pullback in the markets. We really are. If you know the way markets work, nothing's going to go straight up. It shouldn't. That's not a good thing when markets go straight up like that. So think about it as all the suppression, though, that it's been for 180 years. You take a beach ball, pull it under the water. The further you pull that down, the higher it's going to come out of the water, right? Maybe, Carl, maybe that's really funding a lot of it. And wars, silver's a war, silver's the war metal. Cruise missiles, 500, a whole monster box, and a cruise missile. So, I don't like all this Greenland and Cuba, and they're just not stopping. This is a serious time. We are living in some pretty amazing times. This is very World War II-esque. We're feeling very Yahtzee Germany here. They've already sent a lot of support for Denmark, for Greenland. If we go in there and take over Greenland, you're going to see a lot of things happen real quick. They're going to do that. What's that? Article 5 or whatever and NATO's going to back them. And I mean, we just keep, this nation is being run by, some basically, pedo psychopath and him and his buddy, Joe, because he's in the behind, he's behind, whatever. They're all two cheeks of the same hole, wings of the same dragon, whether red or blue, right? It's all the same. Feels like the donkey show to me. If anybody's ever been to Mexico, if you know what the donkey show is. Whoa. So, but he's not stopping. And this shouldn't be so much of a surprise. This has been talked about with NAFTA, and look at the infrastructure that's being built all the way down to South America. So this shouldn't come as a surprise to people who have been paying attention. I think Mr. Warp Speed is just the talking head, the mouthpiece for this, free trade, or, alliance or national, what was it, NAFTA, whatever, during the low jobs are better than no jobs administration, right? The guy who gave Trump his first taste of the White House. So that's what I see. I can distinguish the forest from the trees and pull back, not be too close and too far away. You can see that there's an underlying agenda that keeps happening. And it's this whole, North and South American continent, which will include Greenland, potentially, like I said, Australia. I know China's got their eye on that. I've been saying China's going to get that, but we'll see. We'll see. What an amazing time. What, buddy? What, buddy? What, you want Daddy to say I love you, boy? You were a good boy today. You were the best guy today. You were the best boy. So the underlying agenda is not going to quit, guys. It's not going to quit. They're going to keep doing it and keep doing it. It doesn't matter if it's red or blue. You mix them together and you get purple people eaters. All these elitists, people with all the money. So, yes, Bowen came over to say hi to the dad. He came and gave me a headbutt. Said, say hi to me, Dad. Say hi to the dad. Huh. Say hi, Dad. You need some lovin's? I love you, Bubby. You're such a good boy today. Thank you for being so good for me. Thank you for being good. And the car that I got from that guy, guys, the transmission went out on it. I'm so disappointed. I had a little issue when I got it, but he said, oh, it's never done that before. I had it sold today. The guy came over here. I took it for a test drive, got down the road and popped out of gear, never went back into gear. So I tried to get a hold of him and have him give me a call and see if he'll make up on it. But that's a pretty big hit that I just took. So I need the money right now. I just getting a little short. And I actually had a guy who was going to trade me a gold chain, a nice gold chain. And he drove a couple hours away. I was so disappointed. So I'm going to try to get a hold of this guy. He's a really good dude. He really is a good guy. I love his energy. He's a super good dude. And it's the one that I traded some firewood, a little bit of cash, and this car to help him out. He's the woodcutter guy. So I'm going to see if he'll make good on it. I haven't driven it, I just kind of held on to it knowing it was kind of a money in the bank. It's a car. It's something I could turn over, and I was asking a reasonable price. And so I'm going to get a hold of him. I asked him. He saw my message, but I'll be able to get a hold of him, and I think he'll make good on it. I really do, because he's a good guy. He's got good energy, super positive. He's spiritual, and just say, hey, man, he sold me the car. I didn't think it had an issue. I talked to you about it. You said it had never been an issue. I haven't driven. If you look at the mileage on it, I haven't put a single mile on it. And I went to sell it because you said it wasn't an issue, and now it's an issue. So will you make good on it? I mean, if not, I'll sell it for scrap or something, but it's good running, runs good. I drove right out of here, drove fine, and got up almost to the farm next door, and it popped out of gear, and no, and then it just wouldn't go back into gear. So I don't think it's a clutch. Really, the clutch feels like the clutch is still there. It's a 5-speed. So maybe I'll get a hold of him. His buddy's a mechanic, and they kind of went in together, and I traded the flatbed, which I didn't want to trade. So it was a big loss for me to lose that diesel flatbed. So I'll get a hold of him and see if he'll make good on it. I could just really use the funding right now. I need the funds right now. It's just that time of year. It's winter, and I've spent my limit here, and haven't been selling anything, and been doing more work than selling. So I'm going to get a hold of that guy and see if he'll make good on it. Maybe he'll trade me something else. Maybe he's got something else he can trade for it, or maybe I'll say, hey, can you come back and tow it? You took my vehicle that I tow with, and maybe your buddy can fix it, and and maybe it's something small, but I don't know, because it's not just something, I'm not familiar with it. But it was a pretty big disappointment today. I was hoping to have those funds, and I'm not going to have them. So I'm really kind of in a bad spot. So I got insurance and land payment and phone bill and stuff to pay. And I'm like, Father, why are you doing this to me? Blame it on Father. So, but oh well, life's not Burger King. It is what it is. But that was a big hit. today. I was really disappointed. I had somebody coming out with cash and a nice little gold chain. It wasn't very big, a small chain, little 14 karat or, but I would have liked to have that gold. I don't have any. Like I said, I don't have any gold. I had to spend all my gold. So I don't know why Father beat me again. If it's not one thing, I've been going through some serious crap here, but he just piles it on, man. He just piles it on every day. He just piles it on. So that was a big hit for me this morning, man. I was just I was really not, I don't have any expectations, but quite disappointing. No, it doesn't grab at all. There's nothing. Nothing on the, I can hear it shift, but it does not, the clutch is still there, but there's nothing in the gear, there's nothing in the shifting. So that could be a small solenoid. I don't know. I mean, it's a Scion. I'm not really familiar with this. Never had one. They have good reliability. It has good reviews. That's why I got it from them, because it's a good little car. And I didn't want it. I just put it away as, a chunk of some change, and it listed at like 17. He was gonna pay $1,000 cash and that silver rope, which I think it was at least a few $100. I wanted 15 out of it. That's what I was hoping. That's what I pretty much traded, about $1,500. I haven't driven it, Carl. I haven't driven it. I drove it the one time when I drove home and it popped out, but then it went right back in. I turned the car off, turned the car back on, and it went, back into gear, and drove it here. And I called him like, hey, what's going on? I just got this car with you. He's like, dude, it's never done that. We've driven it. It's local car. It's from this area. We've driven it back and forth to Bend and to Portland, and he's a really good guy. I don't think he just blows smoke up my hiney. And so it popped out of gear. Just popped out of gear, and then that was it. It won't go back into gear. I went out there and cold started it or whatever, and it won't shift into gear. It's but maybe the clutch is not engaging, right? I don't know. I'm not sure what it is. So I felt bad because the guy drove almost a couple hours to get here. I made him drive all that way, and I didn't do it on purpose. So I messaged the guy today and gave my number, but he didn't call me back. So I don't think he'll blow me off. I don't think he's that kind of guy. I need the cash right now is what I really need. And then I think if push comes to shove, I could probably trade him for firewood. He brought 5 cords of firewood. That's why I'm nice and toasty out here, So I've had firewood, but I don't want firewood. I mean, firewood's like putting money in the bank, but I don't want to sell firewood. He sells firewood. I'd sell the firewood, but I don't want to sell a slave cylinder. Isn't a slave cylinder normally get stuck in gear, Carl? I've had that before in a Toyota, and I think this is like a Toyota product. That could be it, though, huh? The slave cylinder. Slave cylinder's external. I remember before that's something that I fixed on a car, a couple little trucks that were stuck in gear, and I fixed the slave cylinder and it shifted right out. But this one won't go into gear. It's not stuck. It just won't go into gear. And actually, when I had the neighbor, it was so awesome because I was only out there for maybe half an hour or something like that. And the young neighbor kid that lives next door, he's a teenager. He came out with this big Ford diesel and towed me back. But when I had him tow me, I went ahead and turned the car on and figured, well, maybe you could jump start it. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so that's not it then. I don't think it's a slave cylinder then. Honestly, I don't think it is. But I did try to turn the car on, shift it into gear to see if it would drag a little bit, catch or something like that. So it's just not going, there's no, synchro. I'm not a big transmission guy. So big disappointment though, because I need, like I said, I've got the phone bill coming up and the land payment coming up and my insurance. So I need that money right now really bad, and I don't think I'm going to have it. So oh well, it's just Father beating me again. So, like I said, I'd take firewood from him, but I don't want to sell firewood because he sells firewood in the area. I'd be competing against him, and I don't want him to be the guy that sells firewood. And there's several people who sell firewood out here, but get firewood and have to put it up on the market and be competing with him. I want him to sell all the firewood out here. So his firewood's excellent. He's got great firewood, full cords of ponderosa pine. So I only got a little tiny bit of lodgepole. They're pretty close, but I like the ponderosa. It comes from that bigger, the bigger rounds. And so Father poured it on this morning, and walking back to the house and back and forth, and like a dingbat, I left my keys. I left my keys in the guy's truck, so I had to go all the way back down to the farm. It was like 3 or 4. No, it doesn't go in with the engine off. It won't go into gear at all. So, no, it doesn't go into gear. There's no gears in it. The gears are gone. All the gears are gone. So, I don't know what that means. Carl sounds like if I had you here, you'd probably be able to figure out what it is. I don't. This is something I don't mess a lot with, that type of stuff. I can normally fix things, if I've had to, but, no engaging whatsoever. No, it just, when I was driving it, it popped out of gear, and then just no, I can hear it, but it doesn't grab at all. No grab if it's off, no grab if it's on. So maybe you could diagnose what that might be, but I don't know. Like I said, it just, I'm just really disappointed because I really have liked to have that little bit of gold, and to hell with the gold. I got bills to pay, just like everybody else. So I've got a land payment, which I'm not even using that land, but I don't want to miss the payments on it. And I already had an issue, obviously, with the missing the payment because of the last incident. So I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe go sell some silver. I still got my Forerunner. So maybe I'll just have to go sell some silver or something like that and pay the bills with that. I just don't want to pay the bills with silver money. But I'm kind of out of vehicles now. And I normally have 3 or 4 vehicles always. So I got rid of the flatbed because I really like those guys. They're good guys that kind of went in on it together. So I'll get a hold of him maybe. And I'm disappointed he didn't call me today. I really was hoping he would, because I saw him online. Stupid messenger. You can see people when they're online, but he even posted he posted something on Facebook, but nice. So I don't know, Carl. I don't know why it popped out of gear and just would never go back into gear. Just nothing. No grab, no nothing. So I don't think it's the clutch. The guy that was going to buy it, he came by. It took him a little longer to get out here, and he said it might be the clutch. To be the clutch. He says, like, the clutch sounds like the clutch is out completely, but the clutch feels solid. It doesn't go to the floor. It doesn't grab, so, but I don't know what that would cost to do that in that car either, to have somebody open it up and I don't know. It could be a clutch. It could be just a little, I don't know if I'm saying it right. A little synchro. Something's not splining. Something's not splining together. I think that car's front wheel drive. So it's up front too. That's a little bit different than, rear wheel. I'm a little more familiar with transmissions that are rear wheel drive and not front wheel drive. I don't know if there's any difference on how that works, but I don't know how big a job that is to do. I don't know if it's a big job, if the transmission went out completely, if it's a clutch plate, pressure plate. There we go. So something like that. That's what it sounds like to me. Something like a pressure plate or something like that's not, those come together, right? That's a kind of like a centrifugal type of clutch. I know how centrifugal clutches operate, that press or whatever, kind of like a hydraulic type of system, and so I don't know how big a job that would be, how much that would cost to repair. It's probably it starts, it runs good, but I don't know what it costs to split that transmission. Transmissions are expensive. that's why I'm disappointed. If it's a transmission, man, that's a big hit. I don't know. Maybe somebody can fix it for, I don't know. Clutches are, I mean, transmissions are not any less than $1,000. The car's worth probably $1,500-$1,800 all day long. It's got some little minor things in it, but nothing. It's clean. I don't think it's ever been in an accident. It's got a clean title on it. So I don't know what it is. And like I said, it was really a long day going back and forth. And then I left my keys in the guy's truck, so I had to walk all the way back over to his farm and walk back. So yeah, so it's a Scion TC. Scion, I think that's a Toyota product, if I'm not mistaken, and it has really good reviews. But then the maintenance required light came on. So that wasn't on before. The check engine light was on, but I think that's because there's a sensor on the front. A lot of those air, whatever those are, because the exhaust or whatever, those normally are one in the front and the back. I'm pretty sure that's probably what that light's on, because like I said, it starts, it runs, it idles, it does, and I drove it right out of here. I started it up, let it warm up a little bit because it was freezing cold, and took off out of here and drove, and just out of the driveway, shifted perfect, got up, start, shifted first, second, got in the third, and it's boop, popped out of gear. And I was sticking out in the road, and like, oh no, but I came back, and the farmer from there, he was already parked behind it, young kid. He's probably 16 years old or whatever, hardworking farmer kid over there with his rig over there, because I had the lid up, on it, and then I put it back down and had the hazards, and he was I pulled it behind him, and I walked back to the Forerunner, ran back, because I didn't want to sit in the road, and then he was there. And then that guy came by, as I'm like, hey, I apologize, I messaged you, and don't know what's going on here. So, I don't know. It's probably going to take money to fix it. I just don't have that right now to fix it. So I wasn't planning on putting money in the car. So maybe the guy will come take it from me and trade me out for something else that I can sell. Like I said, I'd accept firewood, but firewood doesn't pay the land payment. And firewood doesn't pay the phone bill. And firewood doesn't pay the insurance. So I'd have to figure out how to come up with some cash for too long here. So, oh well, Father's just been beating the snot out of me. If you've seen in the last, I don't even have any explanation for why he's doing what he's doing to me. My health is horrible right now. You can see my I still feel just absolutely the same way I felt. I got my blood tests back, and I'm having issues with sugar. My body's not producing sugar, but I'm not eating it. I'm not eating sugar. I'm not eating bread. I bought some bread to make burgers with, but I'm not eating bread, and I'm not eating pasta. And so my body's shutting down. And the lady's like, you need to eat. Your body's starting to shut down. You can die, if you got hypoglycemic. I guess I don't want to think about it, but I'm diabetic, I guess, now, which I didn't think, and not like I'm eating too much sugar. My body's not producing that insulin producing the sugar. So they said I need to start eating sugar. I'm like, no, I'm not going to eat sugar. I'll just die. I'm not going to eat sugar. So I bought some fruit juice. Yeah, something like that. I think that's kind of what was my guess too. So that's a pretty big job, isn't it, Carl? Either way, that's going to have to split the transmission. Transmission going to have to come out to fix that. So that's not a small job. That's probably $800, $1,000, I would imagine. If I had somebody do it that knew, the car pretty well, not taking it to a shop, I'm sure it'd be a couple $1,000, but that's probably all the car is worth really on, hard value. I live out here. I give people a better rate because I'm a couple hours from town. So people got to travel. I came a couple hours to get here. Like it was 2 hours and 2 minutes from where he lived to get here. I felt so bad. He drove all the way out here. And I left my phone at the house. Otherwise, I'd message him. So sounds like a big job to me. So hopefully I can get a hold of the guy and so I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why Father does these things to me. Why would Father even put that car in my hands? I helped that guy out once again. I didn't want to sell the flatbed at all, but I knew these guys to be the right guys to get it because they needed it. They're hard workers and they needed it. One guy's got a family and kids and he needs it to cut firewood. And they said they got it, like I said here, it was the battery. It was just a bad battery. Said that thing started right up. I said, I know it would. It was all redone, that flatbed diesel tilt cab was worth $6,000-$7,000. So I took a pretty big hit on it to begin with, just to help him out. So wasn't expecting this at all, to have it do what it did. But it is what it is. I'll figure it out. I don't think God's done beating me yet at all. I don't feel like I'm anywhere close to reaching the bottom yet. I think the bottom is yet to come, but it's not going to stop me. I'll just have to, but like I said, I got some quarters. I got $100 worth of quarters. So maybe I'll have to get one of those scanner apps and try to go through all those quarters and see if I can find something that's worth something. And maybe there'll be a quarter in there that's worth something to get the bills paid this month with the quarters, but I don't know. So, kind of a disappointment. It hit me pretty hard this morning. Like I said, I was just, I was like, I had to get mad or anything. I was just like, Father, you're just not going to stop beating me, are you? He's going to keep pouring it on me. So it's okay. This is exactly how Father wrote it a million billion years ago. So this is what he wants for me. He wants me to suffer some more. So like I haven't suffered enough since going to jail and all the madness with these. They came back. So pretty disappointed that this schmuck over here thinks I took something from him, and he ain't even had the balls to come over and apologize to me, to let me know, he was wrong. I didn't take any money from him. To accuse me like that crushed me. That's I'm already just from that. It's just, oh well, just the way Father wants it. So I'll just have to deal with it. And as long as I get the phone bill paid, I'll have the internet. So I got to have a car insurance though. Disney, TikTok creators that deal with change and ones that are worth money. Yeah, so just don't know why Father did that. Like I said, I know that I really would have liked to have that gold chain too. It's just a gold chain, and it was just real thin, but kind of little thin rope or whatever. I don't know what it was, but it had been some kind of gold, something instead of nothing. So I'm just kind of disappointed the guy didn't call me back today, because I know he saw my message and he didn't call me. So I don't have his number, so I don't have any way of calling him. But I'll get a hold of him. I don't know how he can make it right with me other than maybe just trade me something. I know he's got a family. They both got kids, and they kind of went on it together. So, but I don't know. Should have sued those county and all that. Said I wouldn't have any financial issues. I don't like having financial issues. I just don't. I don't like struggling financially. I haven't been that guy in my life. I've always worked for what I have. So, normally don't struggle a whole lot. Like I said, I have assets that I can sell. So this is one of the things I put into an asset so I can sell it, and I had it sold. So I had a lot of offers on it, a ton of crazy offers, for a lot of just things I didn't need, but I needed the cash. That's why the guy offered cash and a gold rope. I was like, this will work out good for me. This is what I need right now, because I don't need the car. I need the cash, and I'll just hold on to the gold necklace. But I ended up with nothing. So that's just Father doing it again. So I can't be mad at anybody. I'm not mad at the dude. Maybe he didn't know. Maybe this just happened, because I asked him when that happened. He said, "Man, that's never happened before. I don't know what you're talking about." And I don't think he'd lie to me. So that's going to call him back, say, "Hey, this situation, I don't think you would do me dirty like that. I think it just happened." And if that's the case, can you help me get it fixed, or would you make it good? Because I haven't even driven it. I haven't driven. I drove it home and parked it here and put it as a bank, kind of a bank. Like, okay, that's when I need to pay some bills, I'll sell it. And as soon as I listed it, I've had some crazy trade offers for some things that were well worth more than the car itself. But oh well, like I said, it just adds more madness to my crazy life. So whatever. My phone bill is only $50. My insurance is probably $100, and the land payment's $250. So I'm like $400. So I didn't need all the money, but that put a little money in my hands to, for next month. So yeah, I went out one time. There's lots of gold here. Yeah, there's. I wanted to get one of those gold sluices and do it that way. It's a little harder to pan it. It's nice to have a a gold sluice, but I don't have just one of the little manual ones. But see, I was thinking about buying one of those too with this extra money. I thought, man, I want to get one of those, because there's a reservoir up here that's got a big, huge lip right before it goes down the spillway. And I don't know what the water is like, but last, went there before and it wasn't spilled over. And then I saw that it does spill over. I'm like, that's a good ledge for something to get stuck in. But I went back up there later in the year and it was over, it was huge from the ice melt. So I think that's the first place I'm going to go pan. But that sluice would be nice to have, to let that water run over there and just keep hucking it in one of those little, just the smaller ones. I think they're 4 feet or something like that. They're about $150, I think. I seen one online. Somebody had one used. But oh well, I'll probably just have to take my quarters in that I got from the but when I went to the laundromat. So I'd like to look through them though. Maybe there'd be a quarter in there that's worth something, but I have to probably drive to Bend to sell the quarter. So and I bought a new phone screen for my phone because I dropped my phone. Otherwise, that phone screen, I had to put down an $80 deposit for that too. So I spent that money because my phone's starting to come apart. It's wafering and there's a big crack down the side and it's cracked down here at the bottom. I didn't have the phone case on it because I was having a hard time with the screenshot. Now I've got a button that I can screenshot instead of using the side screenshot. So otherwise, I'd have another $80 in my account, but I went ahead and because it's an older phone, it's a Verizon A03. It's the last phone they had. I called 4 places that did yeah, I heard that too. Or I saw that, but because it's an older phone, they had to order the screen. They just don't have it. It's not. It's the last 4G phone. That's why I'm not going to get another phone. I need to save this phone. It still works. It just has an issue, like I said, because the screen is cracked down the side. It's starting to spread apart, and I couldn't hit the key to the screenshot. And I do take screenshots now and then to use for the heading of the of the live stream, and have, like right now, a screenshot of that AppMex thing. So I've got it set up now where I can just touch on the screen. There's a little 4 boxes or whatever, it comes up and pulls it up. So I'm doing it that way instead of using the side key. So, but I need to try to save this phone because I'm not going to get a 5G phone. Not going to have one. So this is the last one that Verizon has in their system. I actually called to see if they have any more. They're like, we don't have any more 4G phones. You got the last phone, that we carried, and I've had this phone now for a little over a year. So, so if I ever have to have a 5G phone, I won't come on here anymore because I won't use 5G. 5G is a weapon, and I'm not going to have a weaponized phone. I don't want it on my phone. So it's a weapon. They can activate that at any time. 5G doesn't have anything to do with internet. 5G is not internet. So everybody seems to think it is, but everybody that I know is, not hearers. Just most people are very uneducated when it comes to what 5G is. So don't want a weaponized phone where they can turn that rate, that millimeter wave technology anytime they want and activate it for my phone. I'm not going to have that. So I'm stuck with the last phone. So I got to make this phone work. So I got to go get that screensaver put on it. I got to drive a couple hours away too to go get it. But I need to try to save this phone because I don't want to have a 5G phone. So if this phone goes down, you probably won't see me here on the internet anymore. I won't even have a phone. I don't care. I'll figure it out. I'll go get some kind of other service, some flip phone or whatever. This is from Verizon right now. I'd have to change my phone carrier, but there's not a lot of 4G phones left out there right now on the market. So that's why I went ahead and paid for the screensaver, because I don't want to drop the phone again and it completely, I have the cover on it, and I should have had the cover on it before, but I was having a hard time with the screenshot. So I shouldn't have taken it off. I should have left it on there and it just fell on the corner. So now this side of the phone is wafering. Actually, to reset my phone, I have to squeeze the phone together, pinch it on this side enough to make the side keys work to get the power down or reset or whatever that is. So it just keeps kind of wafering further. Now I've got the screen cover on it right now, but even right now it's pushing outside that. Yeah, that's getting a lot worse. There's no such thing as free will. Free will is a fallacy. No free will. Father created all things, so no free will. It's called porneia, idolatria. Latria is to serve, and ido is the dirt, the eyes, the things we see. So there's no such thing as free will. There's no such thing as luck. So it's called predestination, not determinism. It's not a thing either. There's only self-will and Father's will. It's agape and idolatry. All these other things are just made up. People like to make up their own versions. That's called idolatry. So it's not a thought, it's a definition. It's in the definitions. Predestination. Remember, I also did foreknow who I did predestine to conform to the image of Christ. So no free will, no luck. No such thing as luck. Father knows where the dice will land. You can try to stack the deck. He knows where the cards will lie or they'll fall. So if Father created all things, how could there be free will? Just like there's no such thing as freedom. Yeah, right. I'm a United States Army veteran. There's no freedom in this country. Trump's going to ban alcohol again. So no, Father didn't give you free will. Father gave you what's called numbnuts. Get out of here, numbnuts. Didn't you hear what I just said? This is a Nephilim trying to push his own bully you with nonsense. Makes no sense. Like America makes no sense. Not even a single penny. Calmer's a idiot. Doesn't know what he's talking about. Let's see if he can define the word idiotos. Tell everybody what idiotos is. You're a woman that's 75 years old. You're an idiot is what you are. I don't care that you're a woman, your age. You could be a child at 75 years old. You know that? Act like a child. This is an adult-only stream. 7. Tell me, how about just 7? What 7's the number of maturity? Maturity. So why don't you tell everybody what it means to be 7? You're an idiot is what you are. You're an old idiot. 75 is not old for a tree. I'm eternal. I never die. Only die to flesh daily. So why don't you start learning what comes out of your pie hole before you come up here and speak and hear your nonsense. You go speak it in somebody else's chat. Don't work in here. We define the words that come out of our face. So you don't have any definition in you, I can tell already. So what because you're a woman, that gives you some kind of luxury to come out that you're a woman? Remember, we're equally yoked under this covenant. Go back and read the scripture where you come into a ministry and start talking out the side of your face. Father will deal with you. Remember, your mother is the one who can correct you. Apparently, you can't be corrected. And I'm using the word to correct you. So you're a 75-year-old child. Go somewhere else, child. Number 7 is the number of maturity, to be matured, right? To be 7. Would you explain to me the 7 things you're supposed to be doing in the scripture to be mature? You apparently don't even know one of them. So go away from me. Are you some religious idiot? Sounds like it to me. Who gives a if you're a woman? Or does that make you special because you got something hanging between your legs? Oh, you don't? You just take your little slot and go somewhere else. Put your little slot machine somewhere else. Goodbye, lady. You act like a child when you come in here, and this is an adult-only stream, so don't let the door hit you where the good Lord is a pagan term, never used in Scripture. Goodbye. So, I'm 75. Well, you act like a child. Seriously, I'm not going to deal with people's nonsense. There's no free will. There's no luck. There's no such thing as Jesus or Lucifer or devil or free will or luck, and you can't be saved. Knock it off. Don't come in here and try to push your Nephilim bullshit is what it is. You're bullying people with your own bullshit, so stop it. Go away from me. I don't sup with vipers, so I'm not going to stay in here. You're not going to get anywhere in here. We're defined. It's definition. Oh, that's good water. Adult doesn't have anything to do with your age. So Nephilim means bully. If you'll define it in the lexicon, it's a bully. It doesn't have to do with how tall a man or a woman, and we're equally yoked under this covenant. Nephilim means bully. Anunnaki are giants. Giants don't come from the sky. Father doesn't come from the sky. Father doesn't come from the stars. Father created the stars, sun, and moon. He didn't create any planets. There's no such thing as a planet. Get away from me. What are you, spinning on planet Earth on a ball? Get away from me there, ball camp. You can take your little 2 numb nuts out of here. The man's nuts. Grab them. So there's no free will. It's called self-will. Define the word. It's called idolatry. That is the Greek word porneia. Porneia is idolatry. Remember, he divorced his bride Israel. He called her a whore in the book of Revelation because she cheated on his agape. Remember? You frowarded my father's agape. That's what the Hamashiach said. They frowarded the law. Remember the Torah? Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. 613 statutes, commandments was called the Jewish law or the Torah. Apparently, these people don't spend any time in the Word. Father's the Word. The Word became flesh. That's the Hamashiach. So, no free will. It's called porneia. Not like naked ladies and men and women and hub sites. And it's called latria is to serve. Idolatria. Idol or idol. Idols is serving our eyes. Things we see. Little statues and big, tall buildings and anything you see that comes from the dirt. It all came from the dirt. Just some fancy flavored or shaped dirt. Like your wife, your car, your house, your dog. We all came from the dirt. We're all going to go back to the dirt. Ashes to ashes and dust to dust. So, Father doesn't want you to love the dirt. Father wants you to love the Word. Start studying the Word, and you can come in here and have, well, we'll sup with you. But if you're a viper and you start spitting your little venom in here, we're not going to allow it. Remember? He said, cast them out, right? Like he did. Do not partake. Rebuke them. Get out of here. Go away from me. Don't come in here spitting your Nephilim bully nonsense. Quit bullying people with your own definitions. That's called translation. You're a translator. Your God is 3 genders and 1 God. Take your trans God somewhere else. Your Sex Pistol, Sky Daddy Jesus, get away from me. I don't do religions. There's not one good religion that walks this rock because they don't study the Word. In the beginning was the Word became flesh. Remember? In Revelation, he called out as a whore, the mother of all idolatry, the whore of Babylon. So, thank you very much. Yeah, bear fruit. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. Matthew, there we go. So, silly little rabbit. Tricks are for kids. Go pull your tricks somewhere else. Your porneia, your idolatry. Father created all things, so there's no such thing as free will. He gave us self-will. We have a choice, but he knows which choice we're going to make because he created all things, everything that ever was and everything that ever will be. So you're not doing it. Stop take credit for the Most High. You sound like an idolater. You sound like that mother of all idolatry, the whore that rode the beast. Stop riding your beast system. Take your little beast and ride on out of here. So quit being a Nephilim. Basically, you're a demon is what you are. You're a distributor of fortunes or lies to others is what you're doing. So we don't have that in here. We'll correct you. That's called your mother. Remember your mother? Your mother is your correction. It's that tree of life, right? Knowledge, right? Bis. You don't have any bis of definition. Jim Brown, if you leave the definition, you leave the truth is the word aletheia. So stop spitting your own false truths. You're a scorpizzo is what you are. You're trying to teach people your own translations and they don't align with the definition. Remember, I am the narrow way. It's got to be in the narrow way. So you're in the broad way. Take your broad way, Jesus, and go somewhere else. Your own translation is not defined. That is called translation. Transliteration, literally not changing any yod definition. If you leave the definition, you leave the truth. Jim Brown, go study it. Study the word. So if you leave definition, you leave the truth. So start speaking definition. He said, I am the aletheia. I am the aletheia. Aletheia means truth. So if you want the truth, study the definition. I'm talking about Jim Brown at Grace and Truth Ministries. Did a live stream today here on YouTube. Grace and Truth Ministries. This is High Desert Faith and Truth Ministries. So I'm your predestination. The channel former name was Predestined4light, and I just hover over the gospel. That's it. Remember, hover, being the same, narrow way, equal to. So no change. It's like two spoons laying in a drawer. Anybody like to spoon, conform to my image, he said in Paul's writings in Romans 8:29. Remember, I also did foreknow who I did predestined to conform. That means you have to do what he did. He said, I am the aletheia, so you got to speak the truth in here or we'll throw you out of here. You got to let the weeds grow with the wheat, but we're not going to condemn you. We're just not going to have you in here with us. He said, do not sup with vipers, like a split forked tongue. It's like the two-tube, hollow needles, like two needles spitting venom. Go spit your bully somewhere else with your undefined. So I keep it tight in here. Run a tight ship, remember? He's steering the ship. We're just the vessel. Remember? The body's the temple. The Most High. The Most High does not dwell in temples made by hands. The ones who's got the key to the abyss. Knowledge. Oh, no knowledge. That'd be Revelation 9:11. They have a king over them. The messenger. Messenger is the definition of the word angelos or angel. Angels don't have wings. Angels don't come from the sky. Fallen doesn't mean from the sky. People have fallen from the word, remember? Remember, it's hearts are waxed cold. A great falling away from the word. So they don't study the word. They're religious. That's what religion does to people. It waters them down. He said, eat of the meat, drink of the milk, not watered down. That's what we're going to give you in here. That's what Jim Brown will give you at Grace and Truth Ministries. GraceandTruth.net on the internet or right here on YouTube. You don't even have to leave YouTube. And remember, you're always willing to go, you're willing, self-will, to go over to Jim Brown and never come back here ever again. It's not going to break my heart if you go over there and never come back here again. You'll learn a lot more there. You're not going to learn the celestial gospel from Jim Brown, but other than that, 99.9% of what he teaches is over the target, right? Hados. So go study Jim Brown at Grace and Truth Ministries. Get your lexicon. Start studying through using your dictionary to find it in the word it was written in. Dialectus, tongue. There's no such thing as speaking in tongues. Study the language. Apparently there's some kind of language barrier here. You speak pig Latin. Swine talk is what it is. Sweet. Remember, he cast the unclean truths. The man said he was legion, not a demon, legion. Legion means many lies. A demon is a distributor of fortune or lies to others. Daimonion is what the scripture says. If you read the actual text, that's canonized, but most people study some watered down, bastardized is what I call it. Remember, he cheated without a mother, a father, not yoked, not married to. So you've made your own little offspring, silly rabbit, tricks for kids. Got you pulling tricks in here, right? No, not pornea, that's idolatry. So we'll just go round and round. You know, burnt mountain. Remember Babylon to be a great burnt mountain? So take your little burned mountain somewhere else. So remember, he comes back with eyes of fire and feet of fire. So I guess I'm a mean son of a bitch, that lady said. So not here to be loved by the world. That's the word agape. Not pornea, right? Agape. Pornea is self-will. I think you're on that phileo. You know what phileo is? Remember, he told Peter, I'm not asking you if you phileo me, Peter. Do you agape me? You'll find the definition of agape through the scriptures in John, 2 John and 6. Remember, it's to walk and follow in his commandments, and he commands us not to change even a jot. You can't even add a period or you'll go to hell. Or a yo, that's like the smallest of the punctuation in the Hebrew. He said, if you add even the smallest or take away, I'll blot your name out of that book. You're going to hell. So we're not even a yod. That's a letter or a thought. That's pornea. He's that strict. He said, before Abraham was, I am. He is the God of fire. Remember? Ask, what is your Shem? What is your Shem? Remember, Shem is authority. They wanted to know who. They knew he was the God of fire and sacrifice. And he told them, you tell them my name is I am. So we know he is the father of the Old Testament. The word, that's the word Hokadesh. Hokadesh became flesh, hung on a tree, not on a cross. That's paganism. So take your pagan dialect and go somewhere else. Remember, paganism, phileo. Phileo means you're speaking to the world. You have a tongue like a serpent, and you spit unclean truths. So you can't do that in here. We won't allow it. So thank you for coming in and spitting your venom, because we'll throw you out of here. We're not supposed to sup with vipers. He said that. Do not cast your pearls. Remember, who's your prize? You have to have a crown to set at the feet of Shiloh when he returns. The scepter shall not depart from Judah till Shiloh returns. That's the wedding feast of the lambs. That's the final trump. Oh. Interesting, huh? Father doesn't make mistakes. That's why he did to me what he did today again. Just beat me some more. Remember, he only beats the people he loves. He beats the translation out of you. He beats the phileo out of you. Remember, I'm not asking you, Peter. You got to rob Peter to pay Paul. Remember, Paul went out and shared the gospel. Obviously, we all have a jaded past, and none of us, we all fall short of the word. But when you define the word and you start, prove your worthiness by studying. Study the word. In the beginning was the word. That's why I love the word, not the world. Remember, we're not here to be loved by the world. If you were loved by the world, you'd be hated by my Father. So I hope the world hates you and sets you apart, right? No, he set you apart. Remember, I knew you before you were in the womb. Remember, he so loved Jacob, remember, man, he had family, 12 tribes of Israel up against the great sea. He so loved Jacob, and he hated Esau, who killed his brother Moloch. Moloch, remember, he stole his inheritance. Got to have a crown. Wait, you got to have a crown to sit before the feet of Shiloh. Remember, he's the one that put a crown of thorns on him. King of the Jews. Nothing good could come of Nazareth. Remember, he was born in Bethlehem, not Nazareth. These people will go after this Nazareth Jesus. That's who he is, Jesus, the Sky Daddy, hooked on phonics, work for me, J Jesus. So we don't do that in here. So take your Sky Daddy Jesus somewhere else. What is this nonsense that he came from the stars? Oh, we all come from the stars. Father created the stars, you idiot. Grow up. Father created the stars, sun, and moon. He created the earth as the rule, not below your feet. He didn't create any planets. What are you, spinning on a ball at 1,040 miles an hour on planet Earth? You speak like a viper. So that's the word. You can't handle the truth, can you? All right, thanks, Father, for sending these idiots in here. I can try to teach them. Remember, you're supposed to mother. Your mother, it says in Scripture, is your brothers and your sisters that do the will of the Father. Remember, your brothers, your sister, and your mother do his agape. Remember, we're not on the old laws of the testament of flesh. Remember, Old Testament, one sin, one jot, one tittle, hell. Oh, yeah, one sin, death. The wages of sin, one sin is death. What's changed? Nothing but the weather, because they keep spraying us with nano and bromine and aluminum. Remember the onset to Alzheimer's? I think these people got Alzheimer's. Too much spray, man. Too much GMO. Too much yellow lake dye and blue lake. Too much food there. You remember, it's not what goes in a man that defiles a man, and we're equally yoked under this testament to what comes out of the people. So don't speak like a Nephilim in here. It won't correct you. If you can't be corrected, then you're an ass. That's what Christ would call you. Brutish. You're a beast. Brutish in nature. Brutish beast. It means you have an unwillingness. You can't be taught. Remember, your mother is your correction. Your father, he said, call no man father. Who corrects you? That's your family, right? Your brothers and your sister and your mother do the will of the Father. That's not nieces and uncles and nephews and cousins. That's not who your family is. Most of them are vipers because they speak like a Sky Daddy Jesus or some nonsense like that. They speak like the church, remember? That's not the church. Remember, where there are two or three, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, not three in one God, there all be. The promise he'll never leave you. There all be in their midst. So he's here with us now because he's the Word. So I make sure we stay in the Word. Be in the Word. Stay in the Word. Be of the world? No. Be in it, but be not of it. So you're not here to be liked. Remember, they hated me before they hated you. So I hope the world hates you because you don't do their lollipop, don't ask no questions, don't tell no lies, Jesus. We call them lollipop Catholics, lollipop Presbyterian, Calvinists, Mormons. There's no such thing as prophet Mormons. He warned about another Jesus, remember? Paul's writings, another Jesus, the Church of Jesus Christ, the Latter-day Saints, and temples. He said the body is a temple. He didn't dwell in temples. Remember, there are 2 or 3 gathered in my agape. There I'll be in their midst. And that's so beautiful. Think about that. Does that stick to you at all? You used to have the perfect sacrifice, remember? At the altar, high priest of Aaron, Levite, Levitical tribe of Levite, Aaron. If you weren't related, then you were a Gentile. Now it's Jews and Gentiles, man and woman, black, white, brown, red, and yellow. He's an all-loving Father, but he doesn't love everybody. He only loves his bride. And he beats his bride, and he beats the translation out of them and makes them literally define the words that they speak, because we're not supposed to be speaking our word. We're supposed to put that light at the top of your house and let it shine. Not pride. Remember, he had a pride. That was Aaron and Levite. I'm not going in circles. This is the word. Might get you going in circles. Here we go round in circles. Way to fly high like a Sky Daddy Jesus in the sky with wings, right? You think angels have wings, huh? See what I'm saying, brother, sister? That's what the world does. They speak like dragons. Remember? Puff the magic dragon. Live by this. Remember the great sea? Moloch killed his brother Moloch. There you go, you serpent. Remember Leviathan in the garden, that crooked serpent, like snakes up a pole, like snakes up a cross, like it says to be fooled by sorcery. You ever get the definition out? You know what that word means? Pharmakia. Too many pharmakia drugs. I think these people are all too much Adderall. A bunch of Mexican Americans is what they are. Oh, wait, it's a worldwide ministry, so they're all over this rock that you walk. Are you spinning on a ball? This one time in ball camp, so the man's nuts. Grab him. Take your 2 balls and roll on out of here, Fred Flintstone. Stone, remember? That's the word Petra. rock. He said, I am the rock. Do not build your house on sinking sand. Isn't that strange? Strange clouds. All right. Sorry, I had some young little woman, 75 years old, acting like a child come in here and set me off into my own nom, right? No, I'm not. I didn't go to Vietnam. I'm not that old. For Christ's sake. Christ's a pagan term. So it means anointed in oil, right? He was the one anointed. Now he anoints us in the blood of the old lamb. It's called baptism, bapto or baptizo, to be overcome with blood, pitch, red dye or stain, right? You must be completely inside and out, not just some cover. Do not judge them by their cover. You'll know them by their fruit. So we don't hang out with a bunch of fruit cakes. You eat that fruit cake during your Pegmas Jesus. Pegmas, that's what I call it. Welcome to Pegmas Valley. They don't like me in town because I call it Pegmas Valley. I live in the adjoining town at Silver Lake, remember? He said to be like silver and gold. He puts us through fire, remember? Hot press, like a refiner's fire. Remember, he comes back with feet of fire, eyes of fire. Just fire, baby. So you can't handle the truth. That lady probably never come back here again, will she? She said I'm rude because she's 75. You know, people are 75 and act like children. Well, when it comes to the text, it's not in them. They can't handle the truth. Remember? He said he's without sin, the aletheia. The truth is not in them. So stop your nonsense. I booted my mom. Me too. My mom, she's a viper. She's a lollipop Christian. Sucker. That's what she is. She's a lollipop. She don't have some. Tried to bring her over to Jim Brown years ago. She had never talked to me since, guys. Seriously, I've probably not talked to my mom in at least 3 years now. It's been a couple years at least, almost going on 3. The last time I talked to my mom, I said, Mom, you know, you didn't raise me the way that, you know, you could have, but that's okay because maturity is something that takes, there's 7 things in scripture that you're supposed to be doing to be mature. And I tried to explain, we went over and talked about it. And then I tried to now I can't, remember, we're supposed to fellowship with those that are in the narrow way. So I try to show my mom, because that's what we're supposed to do. Don't boast because you know, but woe if you don't share the light. Don't hide it in a basket, right? You can't hide the light. You're supposed to share. So I shared it with my mom. And I said, Mom, I want you to go take this lesson and go see my pastor. His name is Jim Brown. He's on the internet. You spent a grip load of time on the internet. Why don't you go over here? And Mom, I'll know that you're studying this because you'll be calling me a lot, asking me questions. Good interruption there. Wow, we just lost the old interweb there for a minute. And Mom, I will know that you're studying and that you'll be watching this. You won't just, you know, be an actor, like, because, you know, everything you do is Hollywood. You kind of raised me that way, and that's fine. I love you, but I'm trying to bring it to the aletheia, to the truth, Mom. So I'll know that you're studying this because you'll be calling me, asking me a lot of questions. I think that was almost 3 years ago. I haven't heard from her since. So I'm not on bad terms with my mom, but the last time I talked to my mom, I was trying to help her to show her Grace and Truth Ministries. She never wanted to talk to me ever again. My mom's a lollipop Christian. She's a Sky Daddy Jesus lover. She did. I'm seriously, I didn't have a falling out with my mom. Didn't work like that. The last time I talked to my mom, I said, Mom, I'll know that you're actually studying this because you'll be calling me on a regular basis. Remember, you told me I was your favorite son, Mom, which I didn't like. 5 kids. Why would you call one out as a favorite? I never did like that. I used to tell her, I don't like to, please don't call me your favorite child. Don't call me that. I don't like that. My dad didn't raise me that way. He raised me as an equal. Oh, we were very different. I was a middle child between my younger and older brother. I'm the middle born child. So that was how last time I talked to my mom. And she's never called me since. Father took care of that for me, didn't he? So, Jim Brown, here, Mom, Grace and Truth Ministries. I'll know that you're actually studying it, Mom, because you'll call me with questions. I don't know everything, Mom, but I guarantee you, if you go over there, you're going to get hooked on it like phonics worked for me. So I haven't talked to her since. That was the last time I talked to my mom, was trying to bring her over to Grace and Truth Ministries. She didn't want it. So I'm not supposed to sup with vipers. She's not my mother. She's my mom. Remember, honor thy mother? That's the word, right? That's the correction. So isn't that ironic? I think I might have shared that with you guys, but I think that was almost 3 years ago. I haven't heard from her since. Guess I'm not her favorite son anymore. Good. I never wanted to be her favorite. So we didn't have a falling out. So that's what happened between me and my mom. So, you know, I don't feel bad. I put her on the spot. She liked Hollywood, you know. She married my dad. My dad was an actor, so she loved the Hollywood. You know, that's how she lives. She loves the, oh, look at me, and, you know, and look what I got. And my whole family's like that. They're very well off. They got a lot of money. So they work hard for what they have, but they feed the beast. So I don't like the beast. So I don't know if you guys ever heard that, but that was the last time I ever talked to my mom. I think at least 3 years ago. Probably longer. Holy crap, time goes by so fast. But you seriously, that's what happened with your mom? You try to bring 1,000+ lessons. I think she'd have at least one question by now, because that's what I did. Mom, if you're over there studying this, I will know that you're studying it, because you'll call me. You'll be excited. You'll be like, oh my God, Tracy, where have you been all my life? Well, where's this been all my life? She didn't bite. So, oh, you should call her. No, I'm not going to call her. I left that out there. I put the ball in her court, and she just, I don't know, she threw it out of bounds, I guess. So I still have phileo for my mom, but she's a viper. She don't love the word. She loves religion. She's a Christian. I'm not a Christian. I'm not religious. So thanks for letting me share that story with you. But it's kind of sad, isn't it? Aren't you sad? No, I'm not sad. It's like that last girl I dated. Boy, that's been even longer than that, huh? It's been more than a few years. Gosh, it's been a little while since I dated anybody, haven't I? But leave God out of this. Oh, thank you. Well, that was easy. Goodbye. Shut the door. I didn't see her it's been more than 3 years, because I saw her after about a little over 3 years, and it's probably almost been another year since that time that I saw her. So, gosh, maybe it's been 5 years since I talked to my mom. Wow. It's been a while. Right around the COVID, I think it was, huh? Holy Snikes, Batman. So, I apologize if your parents, are like that. Remember, it says, honor thy father. That's not your dad. If your dad's a viper, don't sup with vipers, he said. Don't cast your pearls before swine. When it says, honor thy mother, that's not your mom. If your mom is a Jezebel, or your dad's a Jezebel, don't sup, don't break bread with people who are not in the narrow way. So what do? You let God sort it out for you, right? Father will handle it for you. Let him fight all your battles. So like I said, I could see my mom, I'd give her a hug and tell her I love her, but probably just be an actor, not that kind of love anymore. So it's okay. I have respect because she's my mom. I was raised that way, but she's my mom and not my mother. So she's not my mother. She's just my mom. So your mom and my mom are both moms. Did you know that? And so is his mom. All righty then. Thank you, Father, for that, right? Hey, that's an easy part, though, isn't it, though? I mean, it's not like we're on bad terms or anything like that. It's not, but she just never, ever called me ever again. His father is my witness. Last time I talked to my mom, It's like, all right, Mom, I really need this. If you love me the way you say, and I'm your favorite kid, which you'll go over there and you'll do this, and we'll be talking on a more regular basis, because I know we don't talk much. I'm over here and you're over there, and never heard from her again. It's crazy how the word does that, huh? It separates us. It does. Remember? I knew you before you were in the womb. I set you aside, right? So that's we're supposed to be set apart. So we're not supposed to be like. So I don't think she hates me, but that's the last time I ever talked to my mom. What a weak lollipop. Maybe that was my mom in here. Maybe that's my mom, because I think my mom's 75. Maybe she finally found this channel. She were looking for grace and truth and found high desert faith and truth. You're a rude SOB, you know that? I'm 75 years old and I'm a woman. Maybe it was my mom. I don't think so. So anyways, I just thought I'd share that with you, brothers and sisters. I just think that's I think it's kind of funny. I don't know. What do you do though? Don't worry about it. Father will pass her through the book of judgment. So it's not for me to condemn her. It's to judge her with righteous judgment. So it's okay. I just don't, like I said, yeah, good. Get her out of here. I'm not going to sup with my mom. She don't want to talk about grace and truth. She don't want to ever share it. I don't want to ever see her again. I'll talk to her if she wants to talk about the word, but I don't want to talk about Hollywood and, what I got. Always talk about what you got. Always talk about what you got. So that's all she cares about. It's annoying, actually. You go with her in public. Oh, my God, and this and that, and Hollywood. I'm like, Mom, shh. People don't need to hear this crap. This is like family business you're talking about. I used to do that one, 10 years ago. Like, why are you making our life public? You're talking so freaking loud in the restaurant that the people behind us can hear all this, and you're obviously doing it for a reason. So, plus I don't celebrate any holidays, so they don't like that. They never did like me when I stopped. I never did do the holidays. I wouldn't buy anybody gifts. They didn't like that. I was like, you don't need to buy me anything. I don't want anything. I might come by and say hi to you, but not doing the celebration. So they never did like that. So why don't you do your birthdays? And why don't you do holidays? Why don't you? Because it's pagan. I'm not a pagan. I'm not a heathen. So remember, I glorify the word every day. And I've been like that. I won't do these celebration things. So, and my family loves to celebrate, right? They're not my family. They're my blood relatives. My family is in here in this ministry. So my family's my son. I don't have family. Like most people have family. I don't have any family. I don't have any friends. Remember, I thought this lunatic over here was my friend, but he thinks I'm a thief. So I'm not a thief. Never taken anything from him. That's what the camera showed. Nobody took anything from him. So he didn't have the balls to come over here and apologize to me. Got no balls. Must have been neutered. So. Yep, they never did like that I didn't do the white elephant or the Christmas or the holidays they'd always buy all these extravagant gifts, and my mom decorates her house for every holiday. She has a whole nother house. It's basically a huge garage. It's the size of a freaking small house, and it just has all of her decorations. You guys got to take this call. If it takes a minute, I'll be back. I actually have to take this call. So.